Ugh.
How we looking, Chuck? How are you fitting them in the box? Are you putting us in a box, man? Can't do that.
I think I got a spot for my breeding. God.
Pigeonholed.
Pigeonhole.
Still hear me all right?
No.
No.
Did I turn it off? Wait a minute. How's that? That better?
Me? All day long, baby boy.
All right.
You can hear me, right? Oh, super duper.
You're missing me. Steve. Birch Wizard.
Steve. Missing Bill.
No, I'm here, aren't I?
Now you're on stream.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm slowly starting to hear an echo.
There you go. What goats, Chuck?
Yes.
Or a quick snap overlay. Theme music.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
I'm a real strong light. I phase in and out.
Chuck, I love the intro. The intro's badass.
Nice.
Very cool. All right, here we are for Beneath a Stone Sky. I assume audio and video is working. So we tried this last week, didn't work so well. I think we worked the kinks out, and we got a what do they call it? A show opener? What is that? Whatever when you slide it. The video that Chuck did. What is that thing called? Something.
I don't know. I don't know what you're going for.
Insert intro. There you go. that was terribly technical. All right, so let's just dive into it. Forget last week's. No, same setup, but I'll repeat everything, of course. We're going to do character descriptions here in a minute, but let's get this set up. So you guys, a small band of 6 adventurers, you've wandered. You are from the county of Corellia, which is a small kingdom that sits upon the southern edges of the larger kingdom of Angoulême, and is near a few other counties and other states, the Han City states and whatnot. All of these regions, all of these countries have an extraordinarily deep built-in feudal system, very much like feudal France in probably about the 10th century, 11th century, something like that. So it's very familiar to all of you. And I think we've got at least one knight. Is that right?
Correct.
knights. We've got
That's
one
right.
knight and an oath sworn. So both of you guys are going to be from minor families in this region. Now, the kingdoms, the counties, the various barons and knights are always at war with each other, farming their children out, claiming this title or that right or what have you. It's a very prosperous region. There's lots of agriculture, lots of wealth pouring in and out. But because of that, many of you who are younger sons or whatnot are forced to kind of go somewhere else to find your wealth because there's too much competition. And when you've got 3 older brothers or what have you, it's just too much, and it's extraordinarily deadly, and you frequently will just get driven out. So, Jeremy, I think your knight. I don't have your character's name actually written down.
My character's name is Laszlo One Eye Vargas, or Vargas. He got the nickname One Eye in a failed duel with his brother. And after he got his ass thoroughly beat, he figured, well, there's no line of succession for me anyway to anything meaningful. And I went out to make a name for myself.
Excellent. So what you did is you hooked up with a friend of yours, an oath sworn, and Bill, I think that's your character.
That's correct.
And-
My character is an oath-sworn dwarf named Kenrick, who is probably an aspiring paladin, but has decided to just be more of a vigilante, and has always supported Jeremy's character Laszlo throughout his growing years or whatever. So
You are
I've
an
chosen-
honorable
I've
friend,
chosen to-
Kendrick.
hitch my wagon to his rising star.
There you go. So you brought in a couple of friend of yours. Ryan, I think you've got a dwarf fighter. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. And my dwarf's name is Bitterbach Grimgut, and he is actually he's kind of angry, but and actually pretty bitter at life in general. But he's actually out looking for new recipes and ingredients for brewing beer, because that's what his family does. He's a little upset because he didn't inherit the family business, and he's kind of pissed about that. So, so now he's trying to make his way in the world.
Hence the bitterness. All right. So
Yes.
your contacts, Bitterbach, is that what you said?
Yep.
So your contacts, Bitterbach, in just the world of brewing, you've met quite a few people over the years, and you happen to know this trio of individuals who you know that were kind of looking for something beyond what is the normal, and it's a wizard, a druid, and a cleric. I think you're a wizard. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm Steve. I'm playing Kaladin, the human wizard. I have been doing a little adventuring, out looking for lost magic to add to my rapport, and helping out those in need, maybe for a little coin.
There you go. And Richard, you're the primal druid that has joined this crew.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just out here in this world doing Kamat's work, culling the herd, and yeah, they're a good group to join up with. We'll see if we can remove some weakness.
And what was your character's name?
Ruidan.
All right. I'm writing these things down as if I'm going to be able to read any of my scribble here. But I'm hoping I can.
Or work these into plot lines for us.
There is a really nice chart in our Discord channel.
Yeah, Chuck sent it to me on his phone. I'm sure you did. I have no doubt that you did, but my Skype skills are not such. So, all right. So, with Rudon comes the cleric, and George, I think you're playing the cleric. And what's your character's name?
I am playing Thomas Shepard, a pure good cleric worshiping Durandale.
Ah, nice. That is a lawful good god without a doubt. Durandale has a huge part in the world of it. Okay, so you guys, Corellia, hey, Chuck, can we call the map up? Do you have that handy? So you guys are from, like I said, Karelia, and Karelia sits on the southern borders of the kingdom of Anglame, and I believe what's the other one here? There's Cleves and Siena. So if you look there, you guys, your adventuring opportunities are limited. You can, if you go north, you find yourselves in the kingdoms and in the county of Karelia. So it's the same problem. If you go due west, you're in the Bald Mountains, and it's a decent country, but the real wealth lies south and in the Twilight Wood. The problem with going to Twilight Wood is you got to get through the Fushdan Bottoms, which is just this kind of miserable bog land, swamps and whatnot. So what you've done is you've set off south along the coast there, where the islands of Thulia and Falunar, wandered south for a few days, crossed the Elet River, and you've come to the northern flanks of the Fushdan looking for an easy way across. There isn't anything particularly easy. The druid obviously can scout out a little bit. He's probably got some skills that can get you through, but it's the easiest way, though a lot of foot padding is going to take you to the edge of the Baldon Mountains and loop around. So I give you two options. You can either start overland heading along the southern bank of the Slate River, or you can just say to hell with this, we're going into the Fushdan.
What has it been? Do we know anything about these Fushdan Bottoms?
Yeah, so the Fushdan is mostly bogs. Not very many people go into it simply because there's so many pitfalls, little quicksands and whatnot. But you do know quite a number of rangers and some druids go down in there hunting. There's quite a bit of fish that come out of there, eel and other things that are sold as delicacies to the north. So definitely there are creatures that come in and out of it. The terrain is rather inhospitable. Having said all of that, like many of the swamps in the world of Erd, they have at some point or the other held dungeons built by wizards or creatures from the age of Winter Dark, settled there fleeing the lords of Austrag and burrowed themselves into places that the law and evil of that tower couldn't find them. So there's always rumors of all kinds of stuff in the Fushdan. Twilight Wood is a little bit more, filled with it, but the Fushdan does offer that opportunity.
Well,
let's go there.
Yes.
I don't like running water.
Magical knowledge lost. Let's go.
I look incredulously at the wizard. That is an inhospitable bog. We would be swallowed by the mire and filth of the fen. I am astride horse. I cannot make such a journey. We must go around.
God, who is this guy?
Are you an adventurer? Adventurers don't allow anything to stand in their way to fame and fortune.
Adventurers also usually never live past the age of 20.
Well, I'm 22.
Then your days are numbered.
Yeah, he's an old friend of mine.
My sorceress friend.
I heard there's some ingredients in there that might be worth checking out, but that's purely for my own needs. It just sounds more interesting. And like I said, I hate running water. I don't want to go anywhere near.
If you think you can manage the shallows and get us across in one piece, I suppose it would.
Oh, no guarantees there, buddy.
Oh,
What is shallows for you is deeps for us because we're dwarves. So
that's
Yeah,
true.
like my brother said.
It is my understanding that your limbs are much too short to sustain swimming.
No,
packing
the
all this
water's
gear.
too deep to sustain swimming.
Yeah.
See. So are we like kind of
suppose
like
we
at the
could go
edge
to
of
the
the swamp
mountains.
now?
Yeah, so at this point, I'm going to assume it's mid-morning. It's late fall. It's late summer, early fall. The weather turns pretty chilly at night, but in the days it's decent. About 70, 65 degrees, something like that. You get the anvil wind blowing from the south, and it'll carry quite a bit of cold off of the Bald. That'll hit you usually in the evenings. Temperature drops just to about 30, 40 degrees. You've already had a pretty wet late summer, so the bogs are a little bit higher. The river was kind of difficult to get across. Streams are kind of flooding. It's pretty much continual drizzle At the moment, you've got
What-
blue skies, but clearly, a weather system moving in.
What would be the time difference going across the bog or around? I think is kind of maybe the big question here. Because I mean, if it's going to take us twice as many days to cross the same distance in the bog, or maybe even worse, and it looks like it's getting boggier, maybe going around is the wise choice.
Yeah, looking at it, you probably could on foot, because I think only one of you is mounted. A horse trip would be probably a day and a half, maybe, would put you to the far western edge of the downs, but on Fushdown Bottoms. But on foot, it's going to be a little bit slower, probably 3 days, give or take. If you cut across that bog and didn't run into any issues, it maybe 2 days to get across it, maybe 3, but it's a bog. So it's, you guys are experienced. I mean, you've been on the trail for a couple of years. So, water, armor, mud, muck, all of that stuff offers a whole level of challenge that,
Even the call of adventure does not seem so strong as to deny the most obvious observations. I again push that we go around.
Well, I casted my vote for boggy. Bog.
Oh, I'll go with go around, and if we can get horses, that makes it a better deal yet.
There's almost no chance of you getting horses down here. And one of the
okay.
things about horse, because it's a nightly culture, the horses in Corellia and Siena and Angoulême and Cleves, and they're rather expensive, usually well trained, and frequently horse traders won't sell them to people that they think won't take care of them well.
Well, seeing as how we don't want to lose a horse, I vote for going around then.
Here, here.
All right. So no bog tramping.
No bog trampers.
Bogs are infested with the undead and hags and dragons and serpents and things that like to eat adventurers, so it is probably for the best.
And I don't like wet feet, so
Mm. Now that you put it that way, maybe we should try the bog.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe our cleric would like to go there.
All right, so I assume that the consensus is that you guys are going to head west and skirt along the edge of this bog and try to get yourself to the Ball Mountains and then kind of to loop around. So it's early morning. You broke camp. You head off, tramping in that direction. Somewhere a little bit after noon, the temperature begins to drop. It probably gets down in the mid 50s, something like that, and a mist just kind of rolls in, and not a mist that really stops you seeing anything so much as just everything starts getting damp. It collects on your beard and especially on your armor and all over the, just everywhere you are. Just everything gets a little bit damp, a little bit cramped and whatnot. And you can see patches of it kind of gathering over the bogs to your left as you dip down between a rise on your right, and then it begins to sprinkle just a little bit. And keep tramping on, or any protection from element spells or anything like that?
Yes. Kaladin is going to put endure elements on himself.
Die,
Yes.
you.
As a CK, it's one of the spells I hate the most, because I'll do all of this environmental issues, and the wizard invariably goes, protection from elements. It doesn't matter. None of it makes any. It's just great.
I cast Disband Discomfort.
There you go. All right, as the afternoon whiles away, y'all stop, eat lunch, what have you. The ridge line to your right, which is to the north of you, kind of rises a little bit. The grass gets a little bit deeper, though it's not particularly steep in any way, shape, or form. You can easily get on top of it. But then it begins to kind of rain quite a bit. And off of this ridge, you start seeing these, and it's nothing unnatural. This isn't some kind of weird thing that's happening. It's because you're at the bottom of a ridge and it's raining. There's little rivulets gathering here and there, and clearly you can tell the ground is soaking wet. I mean, it's just sodden. There's nowhere for the soil cannot soak up any more water at this point, as you guys just kind of move forward. And at some point, mid-afternoon, 4, 5 or so, you guys stop looking for a place to camp. Everybody, roll me a wisdom check, spot check, which I was told that technically Castles and Crusades does not have a spot check. So, I was told that the other day by Mac Golder.
Okay, this is the part where I confess that I've never actually played Castles and Crusades.
All right, so what you're going to do is roll a d20, add your level to that, and then you're going to add your attribute bonus you have, and then let me know if it's a prime or not.
Is that wisdom?
Yes, wisdom check. Sorry.
14.
All right, Ryan, what'd you get?
Yeah, I got under 10, so I'm upset that it's raining, and I point out that I can't tell this route from the bog, so we should have went for the bog.
The bog would be even worse.
Magnus, what did you get?
I got a 20 and I'm prime.
Okay, Kaladin, what did you get?
22 non-prime.
All right, Richard.
I got a 27 and it's prime, but that doesn't have the prime added in.
Okay, and Bill?
I got an 8, and I'm as bitter as Ryan is.
You both are just so angry. You're just
we're gonna hide under the horse.
Frustrated.
All right, so
What's your step down there?
Richard, you're listening to the dwarf talk, just complain a little bit about the sodden ground, and it draws your attention to it. And you can see you probably got to your right, maybe, and I say ridge, it's really not that, maybe a 20-foot rise, maybe 30 foot of this kind of gentle grassy slope. And when you look down, you can see this rivulet in front of you is just running red right in front of your feet. It's somewhat diluted, and the more you look to your right, you can see it thickens up as it goes up the side of the hill there.
So red like blood.
Yeah.
Ah.
Now, Richard, you're the only one who sees that at the moment.
Okay. We have spilt blood. And I will take my axe in hand and shield out and walk carefully that direction, peering ahead to see if I can see anything.
All right, so Richard basically just says, we have spilt blood, arms himself, turns to the right, and starts going up the hill. So, Kaladin, what do you do?
Kaladin is going to make certain his spell pouch is there at hand and hold his staff at the ready and kind of start looking around to see if there is, even listening, see if there is any, pick up any sounds, or if he notices there's anyone lying in wait for us.
All right, give me an intelligence check. And you're a human, right? Yes, you're a human. So you kind of gather your spell gear and squat to kind of listen.
So 17, and it is a prime.
Okay, Magnus, what are you doing?
I'm going to draw my blade and, just get ready for a fight if I see anything. But I'm going to watch the others, see what they're doing, trying to get an idea of what's going to go down.
Okay, so you're arming but not following Richard immediately up. Ryan, what are you doing?
Well, I failed my check so badly. I'm just noticing what's happening, and what's going on? What are you doing? I'm stunned.
Okay, so you're saying that, King Kothar, what are you doing?
So I'm watching Ruoden as he's going up the embankment. I'm just kind of puzzled. Like I haven't noticed the blood. I'm just kind of, I slow the horse to a halt, and I look up after him and I call to him. What are you doing?
All right, and as you're doing that, Bill, what are you doing? I think we lost the primal druid too.
I missed the roll as well, so I'm as confused and as amused by the proceedings as Ryan is. But I will use my ability to detect evil 50 feet, which I can do as a passive check. Just if something's up, my hairs in the back of my neck and the front of my neck and all sides of my neck stand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean Ruoden. I meant Bitterbach.
Oh, Bitterbach. Okay. So it looks like we have lost our primal druid, who's the only one going up the hill at the moment.
Something's got him. I knew it was a trap.
He went up to the top of the hill and
We
disappeared.
never saw him again.
Wait,
Actually,
so
that
I'm
is
sorry,
what
who
happened.
is
So, do what?
who is going up the hill?
The primal druid. He's the one who
Okay.
actually says we have spilt blood, I think is what he said.
So then I was talking to Ruiden.
Okay, yeah. And then he pivots and starts going up. So he goes over the lip of the hill, out of sight as you guys are kind of looking at one another, getting your spells ready or what have you. But Bill, when you cast out for detect evil, it just kind of, it's not that, right. It's not that there's something 50 feet from you that's evil, but there's just the heavy presence of evil about you. The hair on your neck stands up. It just kind of permeates the whole area.
Yeah. Well, I say to Master Laszlo that something is afoot here. Something doesn't feel right. There's a sense of evil about this place.
Disturbing.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna play the primal druid, which I don't like to do. I don't like to play anyone's characters. So essentially, he moves to the top of the hill and he squats there for a minute, and he says, he whispers back down. We've got something going on the other side of this hill. It looks like there's some dead people up here. Something's going on.
Okay.
But he squats at the edge of it.
Head up to
we must go.
Head up to the hill so I can take a look.
All right, so you guys kind of move up the hill. King, are you going to stay mounted or are you going to dismount?
How is the? Oh, that's really loud. Sorry. How is the terrain? Like you said that it was really wet and slick.
And grassy.
Yeah, the horse could probably move up at an angle relatively easily. Going straight up, it'd be a little bit of a struggle, but not much of one. I assume it's a war horse. Is that correct?
No, I don't have the levels.
It's just, okay, so it's just a light riding horse.
I'll go up at an angle.
Okay.
So it's not too hard. I don't mind the additional movement.
So Grape Ape in the chat has offered the whole chat can fill in for the primal druid.
Oh no.
That's good.
It'd be like a Mad Lib. We don't know
All right,
what
so
we're
as you
going to
guys move up the side of this little berm here, obviously as you do, you kind of get a slightly better look of the Fushtem bottoms behind you, and you can see them just stretching on and into the twilight, little patches of fog here and there. Every once in a while, a little copse of mangled trees and cypress trees kind of sticking out of mud banks here and there. But as you come over the top of the berm, you can see roughly about 100 feet from where you're from the edge of it. This first thing you see is a wagon. It clearly was a covered wagon at one point, being pulled by at least two horses, one of which is dead in front of it. The other horse is missing. You see to the right and behind it another dead horse laying on the ground with these absolutely large, monstrous bolts in it. You see a couple of dead bodies. Can't quite make out much of them because they're laying in the grass, and it's raining just a little bit. And literally right as you come over the top, all right, I think Richard is back. Right as you come over the top, you can see this man laying there with his hand is kind of he's in the grass, kind of sloped over the little berm, and that's where the blood is coming from. He's clearly been eviscerated. His stomach has been opened up. His intestines are spilled out, and all of this blood is just kind of soaked up, and it's kind of just rolling down the hill. Further over by the wagon, you see that, like I said, you see those two figures laying in the grass, and you see a third figure tied to one of the wagon wheels, and this other creature, a dog-like creature, it's a malformed dog-like creature, kind of sniffing around him, chewing at him or pawing at him or what have you, just messing with this fellow who's tied to the wagon.
By Ortazar.
It's a dog-like creature on all fours.
Right, but it's really gangly. The legs are really long. It's just this odd-looking. And it's a little bit dark. I mean, you can't have. Well, you're a dwarf, actually. You can see a little bit better in the dark.
Yeah.
It has a long mane of hair on its back, and you can see all kinds of trinkets woven into its hair.
And the size of a dog or larger?
It would be Rottweiler size if it's the size of a dog. It's a big beast, but thin, very thin.
Oh. Those unfortunate souls ran into a bit of bad luck, and that thing is ugly.
Well, Kaladin shouts out at it, "Hey, get away from him!"
Bad dog.
it immediately pivots its head and looks, and you can see this long snout. The hair of its, the mane of its hair goes all the way up to right to the edge of its mouth, and you can see that its lips curl back over its long fangs, and then it stands up. And as it stands up, clearly a bipedal creature, it's picking up two huge, just cleaver-like weapons. It's more blade than anything, and it just grins. You all are, like I said earlier, experienced adventurers. You know what the creature is. It's about a little over 6 feet tall. It's a gnoll, and just as a heads up in the world of air, the gnolls are probably of a world of where there's a lot of violent creatures. The gnolls are the most violent of creatures. They live only to kill. That's really the only thing they want to do. Death. They don't fear death. They don't fear any of this stuff. I'm going to try to get Chuck to upload. Chuck, are you with us? Upload that picture if you can of the what is it? The Idzak, I think is what it is. The Gnoll god. So this creature, as Chuck's doing that, I assume you guys can see that, right? Because it appears on the screen. Is that how that works?
Nothing's up yet. I'm waiting for the stream to catch up with us.
Oh, that's right. It's got a little bit of a delay. That's right. I didn't mean up with that. So at any rate, so this creature just grins and it starts trotting towards you all. What's the response? And Bill, we'll start with you. What do you do?
Take out the crossbow and put a bolt in it and get ready to fire.
All right, start loading up. Magnus, what do you do?
I'm getting ready for this thing to come up to us and attack us. Otherwise, I'll wait for my friends, and if they start running, I'll run with them.
All right, Kaladin, what do you do?
Let's see. Magic missile.
I'm gonna be all over you like magic missile on a knoll.
You're clearly going to get the drop on it. I just got about 100 feet to cover in Castles and Crusades. Its first round is going to be about 30 feet, 40 feet. I think that's what its move is, 30. And then second round, it'll start building up to a charge at 60. Third round, it'll be at 120 feet. So you got about 2 melee rounds. King Kothar, as the wizard steps forward and starts casting this magic missile, what do you do?
I am going to pull free my large mace, this great heavy flanged thing designed for riding on horseback, magically imbued.
Nice.
And I'm gonna like raise it on high, and I'm gonna basically ride him down and close the gap. And the second I get within striking distance, I'm gonna let him have it, and I'm gonna keep riding past him.
Excellent. All right. So the knight, arms up, spurs horse forward, and starts galloping forward. Ryan, what do you do?
I look at Kaladin and say, what have I told you about calling out to these things? But the knight just took off, so things are in hand. So I fold my arms and I watch.
All's in motion, I shall watch.
Shots fired.
All right, Richard, what are you doing?
Well, I'm going to look down at
Uh-oh, we lost Richard again.
charge.
Okay, you froze for a minute. You look down at what?
Look down at my wolf cam, say, let's charge, and I will charge.
Okay, so the knight launches forward, druid right behind him, magic missile, 2 magic missiles, or is it 3? What are you doing? Your 3 magic missiles zip past you, so give me some damage on the missile.
All right. Of the 3 brilliant yellow missiles that fly out, I hit for 11 points of damage.
It strikes the gnoll. You can see just the electrical current of the power of your magic strike. It knocks the wind out of it somewhat, slows him a little bit, but he just like someone who gets tased and doesn't care. He buckles a little bit, but he just keeps running forward. And you can see as he's going forward, he pivots to the left off of King Kothar as clearly trying to not flank you, but get to the left on the side where your mace. You're assuming you're right-handed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to his left, your right, trying to open himself up to your mace blow. He's clearly looking for a fight as he closes in. Does anyone? So next round, as you guys are closing, so at the beginning of the third round, you two will clash. So go ahead and shoot your crossbow, Bill. Now,
Sure.
Because you've got the primal druid and the knight and the horse moving between you and your target, if you roll a 1 or a 2, I'm going to have you roll again, and then I'll have you roll again to hit one of these 3 people that are between you and the gnoll.
Oh man.
Oh, don't worry.
If I, okay.
It'll be
Since
fine.
I'm Oathsworn, I have this ability of it's my chosen weapon, so I can't use it. So I'll at least fire the crossbow normally.
It hits 100% of the time, most of the
It
time.
misses. It misses. No, I rolled
What
an
did
eight.
you roll?
An 8.
Okay, all right. So
Plus
the
2.
bolt goes kind of wild, and then beginning third. All right. Well, are you going to cast another spell, Kaladin? Are you?
No, he's gonna basically draw a dagger and get within, or a dart actually, and get within throwing range. He's gonna keep an eye out as he moves forward, just to see if there's any others around.
Okay, give me a spot check on that. Give me a wisdom check on that.
Wisdom check.
And give me an initiative for the primal druid and the knight.
Let's see. So, 17 non-prime.
You look about, you don't see anything. You're relatively certain. You do see the guy tied to the wagon he's still alive.
Still alive. Okay.
What do I add to my initiative roll?
In normal Castles and Crusades, you add your dexterity. In my game, you don't add anything. It's just a straight up roll.
Okay. 14.
No, it's a D10. Sorry.
Oh, okay. We're going old fashioned. I see. I like
And Richard, what did you get for initiative?
10.
You got a 10?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I got a 4.
All right. Hey, King, just to let you know, when we started playing Castle Crusades at my table back in whenever, 2005 or whatever, because we were going from AD&D to Castles and Crusades, and someone, I don't know, I think it was Todd, said, what dice are we rolling for initiative? And Mac and Davis, who had created the game, we were like, well, we're rolling a D10. That's what CNC says for. Then Mark says, we're rolling a D6. This is America. So to this day, we still roll a D6 at my table. The real old school. All right, so beginning that
Close arming
round,
up.
he actually, there we
there's
go.
the hat.
So the gnome immediately, as he closes in on the horse, Richard, your druid pulls ahead just a little bit of the knight there, and you can take a swing at the knoll, but the knoll actually rolls in, and you both know immediately he is swinging one of those cleavers at the horse's leg.
Oh, no.
Oh, no! So go ahead and swing, Richard.
Oh. That's like 8.
And hey,
I rolled a 4.
as he rolls, it disorients you just a little bit. Your axe goes over. You take a second swing and a third swing as you're just trying to get past him, but your momentum carries you beyond where he is. As he rolls up, he slides in the mud a little bit and takes a hack at the horse's leg. What is the horse's AC? I think it's 14, probably.
It's only 13.
13. All right. He just barrels into that horse. Well, no, he really doesn't. He nicks the horse for 1 point of damage.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
He thought he barreled into it. He scores a good hit, but the horse's momentum knocks the blade back, bends his arm somewhat, obviously taking the force of the blow in the opposite direction. So go ahead and swing with your horseman's mace.
15.
Yes, that hits.
yeah.
You clock
That
him in the
hits?
side of the head. Yeah, you hit him. Clock him in the side of the head. Are you going to be able to hear through that thing?
I can hear okay.
All right.
It's like an echo chamber in there.
Right.
22 points of damage.
What
Holy
the? Holy.
Whoa.
All right.
Yeah.
As he comes up, having hit your horse there, he comes up out of his roll, slides a little bit in the mud, and just dirt's flying in every which direction. And as you ride by, you powder his head. You hit him so hard, you knock him back up, and you all can just see that kind of powder stain of red in the air as he pivots, hits the ground, and you just keep galloping on. And that knoll is dead, dead, dead.
Good job.
Huzzah! 3 cheers
See?
for Sir Laszlo.
Yeah.
An eager knight.
All right, so there you
I
are.
only do that kind of damage on the back of a horse, so don't kill that horse.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
just a shitty fighter.
you get your knight abilities. I forget about that. It's kind of the nice thing about when I'm running these games. I can't remember what the classes do, so so it's always a nice surprise what's going on.
He can tell you anything.
Right, I wouldn't have any idea. When we played AD&D, Charlie played it was the Cavalier. I don't know if you guys have played AD&D or if you remember,
Yep.
the Cavalier could do things
Yeah.
up to negative. Well, Charlie told me that you can do anything up to -10. Well, that's not the case at all. You can do a little bit. So I killed this character, but beyond that,
I mean, it's believable in AD&D. Those kits weren't balanced. Are you joking?
oh yeah, no. AD&D it's a fantastic game, but it's one of the reasons we created CNC like we did. As I ran the same group, Mac and them, for since '85, and I would just make rules up as I went. If I wanted to make a check, I literally would look at whatever dice I saw first. I would say roll a d4 or roll a d8. You know, there was no rhyme or reason to any of it. So Mac wanted to create a system that he could actually figure out if there was some chance of him succeeding other than completely random crap. So that's partially where the siege engine comes from. All right, so you guys got this wagon there, cover torn off of it, at least 2 dead horses and 3 dead bodies, and someone strapped to the wheel. Hey, I'm going to turn a fan on. If you can hear it, either here in the stream, let me know, and I'll turn it on. Go ahead, what do you got?
What condition is he in?
When we move forward, he is in really, really bad shape. He's not even really tied to the wheel so much as his arms were kind of woven through the spokes. Both of his arms were broken, and he just can't move them out of the spokes. And then they had opened up his midriff, pulled out some of his intestines. You can see a little hook that's kind of has been jammed in there and pulled out, and other various and sundry signs of torture. Gnolls are just extraordinarily wicked creatures.
That's not very nice.
Not very nice at all.
Is he alive?
Yeah, he's
still.
barely alive. Now, once you get up, and I assume all 6 of you guys have moved forward at this point. Once you get up, there's debris everywhere. Clearly, this wagon had trunks in it with clothing in it, and those of you of a more knightly character or from families recognize the clothes is decent clothing. I mean, it's not, a tradesman's garb or a peasant's. It's some knightly family's clothing. There was some wealth here, and you can see, so this is scattered about. You can see these trunks broken open. There's clearly deep groove marks in a trunk where a heavy trunk was, or in the wagon where a heavy trunk was pulled out. And then on the other side of it, you can see a bird cage. It's laying on its side. Did Chuck get the picture of that? No, he did not. Did the picture of the Gnoll god ever appear? Yeah. I don't think it. Okay, good deal. So Chuck, you can put the magpie up now if you want. And in this cage, laying on its side is a bird, and this magpie. And a magpie is like a crow, about the size of a very large crow, black and white bird. And you all know that the magpies are, here in Corellia specifically, but in all of these kingdoms, are cherished birds. The nobles use them. They raise them from chicks, and they'll even be generational. They'll pass them on. They'll breed one after the other. The whole thing. Magpies are extraordinarily valuable and a mark of a family's wealth and its status and all this other stuff. So having a magpie here on the northern borders of the Fushdan Bottoms is, well, it's just not. It's just not normal. But yeah, so this guy is, and the magpie's alive, and this guy is, like I said, he is alive, but he's not gonna live much longer.
The man or the magpie?
The man. The magpie has got mud splattered on it, but looks fine, and it starts immediately when it sees you. It immediately starts cawing and chirping like a magpie will.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Kaladin will move up to the injured fellow or the near dying and pull out his water skin and give the guy a little bit of water.
Okay.
To wet his mouth.
He drinks it. Obviously it alleviates some of his suffering a little bit, and his left eye opens a little. He looks at you and he says, "The Lady Lydia, the Lady Lydia."
Yes, I'm not. What about her?
Where is she? And he tries to move, but obviously his arms they're woven into the spoke, so he can't go anywhere.
Don't move.
What are the? Go ahead.
Don't move. Just talk.
Where is the Lady Lydia? What are the rest of you guys doing while this is going? Are y'all closing in on the wounded guy, or are you searching the area?
Yeah, checking out the wounded guy. Definitely.
I'm standing behind the wizard.
Okay.
Okay. Looking
climb up
around
on
to
the
see if
wagon and look
anything
around.
else is happening or going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
guess.
King, where are you? Are you up with the wounded guy, or?
So, like, the momentum of the horse probably carried me a fair way, and I'm like coming around, like banking back around. I'm looking towards, I guess, the rocky crags and the areas on the edges of our immediate environment for signs of an ambush. But if I don't see any,
Okay.
I'll probably. God, why does my game keep going up? Turn upon noticing this wounded man, I might dismount and just kind of. If I hear the name Lady Lydia, does that mean anything to me? Being a local.
Yeah, about the third time he says Lydia. So the dwarf, you actually have heard this name. You're the Oathsworn, right?
Yes.
You've actually heard this name, and Kothar, you have as well. The Lady Lydia is a niece of the Count of Corellia. She broke all family protocol and ran off with a unlanded knight several months back. She was pregnant, clearly with his child, and they have been kind of on the run, somewhat, anathema, somewhat driven from society, but it's just kind of one of those, those storybook love stories that float around. You've heard of her. She's seeking happiness or whatever. So you know who the Lady Lydia is. You two do, at least, King Kothar and Bill.
Okay. Does the knight she ran off with have a name, or he's just?
It is Lord Albin. He's a young man. He's the fourth son of one of the not local, but one of the knights of Corellia. A famous jouster, even as young as he is. He's well known on the battlefield. He's an experienced, campaigner, but with no land and no title other than, his father is a knight. He had no prospects. So for the lady to run off with him was quite a scandal.
Does the lord that you describe bear any resemblance to the man whose body has been mangled and forced through a cartwheel?
No, that definitely is not him. But it occurs to you as you were trotting around a little bit, one of the three bodies that's laying over by the wagon, a little bit off, that's where the dead horse was, one of the dead horses, and there was a body next to it.
I guess I would go check that out, like leave, because there's nothing I can do for this man.
How distant is it from the wagon?
Oh, 100 feet. It's not very. I mean, you all can see it. And just looking at the horse, it's a large horse. It's what's called a Sienna Oldenburg. These horses are bred for war up in Anglame and the county of Sienna.
This could be the
extremely expensive horses. But when you move over the King Kothar, that body, clearly he had some kind of half plate and chain on, a long sword. He is just chopped to pieces, and he's got one of those gigantic arrows right through his chest. It could be him. You don't know what he looks like, but this is clearly a knight of some degree.
Okay.
Hey, Kaladin, ask him where he was headed.
He's not in the mood to talk.
Yeah. If there's,
I thought he
I'm
still
not
was
seeing
talking.
if I'm not seeing any immediate danger, I'm going to go over to the magpie, and I'm going to cast Speak with Animals.
Good lad. Good one.
And, basically probably initially try to calm it down. Don't worry. We're going to take care of you. What happened?
So the bird is, and everybody in these regions know, these birds are extraordinarily intelligent, bred for intelligence, and they're very attuned to being with humans, elves, dwarves, whatever. Anyone who's good. It immediately calms down when you begin to speak to it, but it begins pecking at the door, trying to get out of the cage. It just wants out of the cage because the cage is laying on its side, kind of half in the mud.
Well, I'll set the cage up and I'll open the cage.
Okay, it actually hops out and immediately kind of alights on your arm without any kind of hesitation whatsoever. And obviously, speak with animals doesn't mean you can have a conversation with
Right. No, I know.
Right. But it begins to indicate to you just through its chirping and its body language, this wave of creatures, and it points to the gestures, towards the one that you slew, just came up and over the ridge, struck the wagon, slaughtered everybody, and hauled off the woman, who the princess, Lydia. She's not a princess. She's just the niece of a countess.
With animals ruin then.
I will let it know that if it wishes to fly back to its home, it may do so, or if it wishes to accompany us, it is welcome to do so.
It will guide you to where it will be your eyes to finding the woman. That's what it offers.
Bonus.
Nice.
Thank you.
Then it actually flies over to the dead knight, who's probably, it was his magpie. It might have been Lydia's magpie. Hard to say. Seems to grieve over the night for a moment.
So with the dying fellow, I'm sorry I'm not able to repair your wounds. Do you have any last wishes?
And he opens his eyes again and he goes, he says, you must fetch Lydia. You cannot let her be sacrificed.
I understand. Do you have any family that I could convey that you have passed on?
He looks about a little bit, kind of his head rolls a little bit over to the knight's body where the magpie is, and he says, "That was my only family. I will go to the endless pools, as is my lot."
Then you will be with him.
So Kaladin kind of looks around at the others, and he pulls out a dagger, and just in case anyone wants to question or anything, because this is the only way he knows how to heal what his problem is. So
I think as a cleric, I think he's beyond saving for the most part, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right. So then go to the afterlife quickly and without pain.
You dispatch the fellow. He slumps down, and you can hear him praying to one of the gods. Who he prays to, you cannot tell. But he passes to the river of time, as is his fate.
And I will actually pray with him and ease him as much as I can on that journey.
Okay. That is well done. The god Heth is the one who guides people to where they go. And just for those people out there watching, and for you guys in the world of Air, the endless pools are the pools at the end of time where all of those people who go who really had no role in life. They were just there. So it's just filled with all kinds of just normal people. The stone fields are more for those who do heroic deeds, fight for good or whatever, make a name for themselves, that type of thing. And then there's other places, the wretched plains for the evil, which is where the evil dead go, where if you are evil in life, you go and you're literally tormented and tortured for all time until the Gonfod come, or to Elfstreg. So your easing and praying to him may influence the god Heth to guide him to the stone fields for his last courageous acts. So it's late in the afternoon. You probably, the magpie indicates that those gnolls went right down that rise and right into the push dam bottoms.
Oh, all right.
So Ryan, you get your wish.
But it'll be better with Knowles.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's true. My base assumption was not that there would be hyena men in there, but now there are. So it's even worse.
Aha. Well, I would normally advocate and burying them or burning them, whatever the traditions are. But I think that we need to go now because they may sacrifice her very soon.
Just put a coin under his tongue.
There you go.
Very well.
I will cast good bearing.
Okay.
There was
And
a
let us
third body.
go.
Did we investigate that?
Do what?
There was a third body. Did we investigate that one?
There's actually 4 bodies. There's the knight, and then 2 laying next to the wagon, and then the 4th that was over on the ridge that was bleeding down.
Okay.
Just a quick investigation of these 3, probably all servants or drovers taking care of the wagon, the horse, you know that.
They all died by a
Yeah,
knoll.
They're all dead.
And I
just-
actually needed to
Go ahead.
cast that twice. So I will present everyone with a good berry. I now have enough to give everyone one. That's 6 and
Alright.
3 left over. That way
Okay.
we can move on. That will provide us sustenance for the evening and
Excellent.
energy to pursue the chase without having to cook.
Okay.
I
Excellent.
love these meal supplements.
Yeah. Before we venture into the swamp, though, I want to bandage up my horse. It got a nick there, and I just want to make sure that the wound is clean and dressed in some way.
Okay. That's a good idea before you go into the swamps.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so the plan is to head down and into the swamps. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
Does anyone speak Knoll? Not the most common language. but-
Probably not. I don't even think dwarves speak. No, let me double check on that. So while I'm looking at that, just to give you,
Dublinoid half of an orcish giant.
Even if I could, I wouldn't. They're very dishonorable and dirty.
they are they're just mean. They're just not nice creatures.
They're not nice at all.
Bad
What they
Noel.
did to this guy.
So one of the things to keep in mind, and you all would know this, this is a very Airdian thing. I'm not seeing. I know you speak more languages than normal. The Knolls in Aird are very famous for this type of bow that they use. You do not. So the dwarf does not speak Knoll. Basically, this bow is gigantic. It's much larger than a longbow. It can only be used by bracing on the feet. So a knoll will lay down on its back, and it'll put its feet through 2 stirrups attached to the bow, and he'll pull the thing back, and another knoll will stick an arrow into it and shoot the thing. It's basically like a small ballista. And it does, and you see that's clearly what killed this warhorse here, and one of them struck the knight. So it just, and you all have this as common knowledge. I mean, this is something that nobles do.
Okay, that's where those giant bolts came from.
Right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So, Steve, I have a
Magnus-
question.
Yeah.
Just on the languages,
Mhm.
do dwarves or the demi-humans automatically get those languages, or do you have to have an intelligence bonus?
You know, I'm actually glad you said that. 2 things. One, you just automatically get them. That we have language rules in the Player's Guide to Aird if you want to go that route as a CK and do all of that. Otherwise, you're just speaking them. But I'm glad you said that because I shifted into full Castles and Crusades mode and out of Aird mode. So in the world of Aird, the Dwarven language is the root of all languages except Orc and Elf and a couple of others. So, and it's called, the Vulgate is the language that everybody speaks. So giants, humans, dwarves, gnomes, halflings, they all speak the same basic language. So there's a good chance that you guys could commit. There's like there's a complete 100% chance that these gnolls are going to speak the Vulgate. They might have their own language, that they speak amongst themselves, but they're going to definitely speak the Vulgate. It's rare that a creature doesn't speak the Vulgate, and even if it's a really broken version of it or they don't completely understand it, because dwarf is the root, certainly the 2 dwarves in the party are going to be able to pick stuff out quite a bit.
Okay.
So communicating with the gnolls is a distinct possibility.
Okay.
All right, so let's take like a 2-minute break, and then we'll reconvene as y'all plunge into the push dim bottom. Sound good?
Sure.
Yes.
Copy that.
Already too much Dr. Pepper. All right. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, just
I'm coming through okay?
But really quiet.
I knew that. How about now?
That's better.
And it just how about, is this better?
Just barely, and I can't see you. I assume you're off screen.
Oh, I had a thing.
There, right there you are.
Something wrong with this mic. For me, there's something wrong with me.
That's better right there. There's something wrong with me.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Now we got it.
It's just the way things go with Troll Lord Games. It's just the way it is.
Well, my gain keeps spiking on my microphone, and like as I talk, it just gets louder and louder and louder until it's like this, and it's just
That's
Interesting.
pretty loud.
It's,
All right, you
it's
ready
doing
to
that
dive
in the
back in?
stream, huh?
I'm sure it is because we're just capturing audio locally, and I don't know how to stop it from doing that.
All right. All right, Chuck, we ready? Are we back? Okay.
Did we enter?
Ooh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh!
Oh, you got my attention.
Chuck, you're not very nice.
Yeah, you know, we did that at Origins early on. It was just Todd and I. And we had this mountain of books to load up. We were tired, and these two kids walked by, and I said, one of everything in the booth. I can't remember what I said, for like $250, $300, whatever. And he goes, I don't have that kind of money. He opened his, and I said, whatever's in your wallet, and it was $80. So he got his mountain of crap for $80.
Nice.
It was hilarious.
You did that.
That dude's name is Ben Gifford. I see him every year at GaryCon.
I remember the first time I met y'all was at Gen Con 49, I think. And you did that same shit.
We call it the Davis package. He does this gigantic package of everything. And in the early days, it was reasonable, but now there's like 250 products. So it's absolutely monstrous. But he pays no attention to any of that. I literally cannot get him to remember. In the Kickstarter we're running right now, the Player's Archive was his idea. And every time I talk to him about the Kickstarter, he said, well, we should do this book where we book. Yeah, we are doing that book. I keep telling you, we are doing that book. All right, so you guys head down the slope. The sun's beginning to dip beneath the horizon. The temperature, as I mentioned earlier, is beginning to drop, but it's nothing that's going to hold you guys up. It's probably in the mid-50s, probably get down in the 40s or some such mess tonight. But when you get to the edge of the swamp there, the bog, really, I want to do a quick character description. So we're going to, be as elaborate or as not elaborate as you want. Bill, let's start with you.
Kenrick is just your bog standard dwarf. He's rigged for outdoor gear. Always seems to be scowling. Never has a happy smile on his face, and enjoys Bitterbox beer when he ever gets around to making it. That's my real goal, is to get some of that Bitterbox stuff.
What kind of armor do you have on?
He's got coat of plates. All right. Magically imbued coat of plates that he's acquired legally.
All right.
Legally.
Magnus, what is your character?
And like his friend Sir Laszlo, he also carries a big flanged mace, which he calls Painless.
All right, Magnus, what does your character look like?
You're muted, Magnus.
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted. Magnus, you're muted.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Thomas is wearing a banded mail, and it's like a dark bluish color. And on his shield, of course, he has the holy symbol of Durandale, which is a long flaming sword pointed down. And of course, the armor is magical, and his sword, of course, is a long sword. He has no name for it, but it's magical, of course.
There you go. All right, Kaladin.
Kaladin is decked out in a relatively fine shirt there with a kind of a very light leather jerkin over that. Dark pants, boots. He's got a cloak there with a hood, and he has some metal bracers on there which kind of glow with some runes. He has bracers of armor, provide a little bit of protection there. And he's got his staff, which has a nice kind of little dragon head on there, and the eyes are like lit up. And as he walks, you can see that he has some daggers and darts attached to various places there on him, ready to draw if need be. And of course, his backpack.
Where do you carry your spell book?
Spell book is in the backpack.
All right.
Oh, and he's got a spell pouch too.
Okay, with the components and such. Kothar, what do you look like?
Well, I am clad in a shirt of mail. I carry the great helm of a right proper crusader. I've got a shield slung over my back. I'm wearing a white tabard with the, hold on, with the bright red inscriptions of one of the worshippers of Ortsar, kind of incorporated into a general crest. He's basically a dead ringer for a like third, like someone involved in like the Third Crusade. A right proper French knight. If he removes his helmet, he's got a short black beard, medium length black hair that's probably pretty greasy and like swept back. And he's and of course that one cloth patch which covers his the socket where his eye would be.
Well, it's prophetic that you have the symbol of Oritsar woven into your coat of arms, because tonight's adventure begins with the man tied to the wagon wheel, and of course that is what Oritsar's symbol is the wheel, the wagon wheel. Ryan, what does your character look like?
So Bitterbach, he wears a kettle hat, and he has an enchanted set of ring mail. He wields an enchanted two-handed battle axe, and he has short, dark hair and a long beard that has got a lot of there's a lot of trinkets tied into his beard. Good luck charms, little bits of metal, maybe a bone piece. I'm not sure.
Some beer recipes.
There might be a mug there.
Yeah. A bottle opener. There you go. Richard.
Bottle opener.
Richard, what does your character look like? The primal druid, what is he?
Well, my primal druid, Rudan is a tall human. He's got dirty blonde hair, and it's not all entirely coloring. It is dirty. It's rather unkempt. There's probably some twigs in it. He's got a full beard and mustache. He is wearing deer hide leather. He has a cloak on. He carries a small bag. He doesn't have a backpack. Has some rope wrapped around his body, and he's got his axe in his hand, his shield on his left arm. His face, though, has a wolf tattooed on the left side, howling at the moon that is tattooed around his right eye. And looks a little crazy if you try to look him in the eye.
Looks very primal.
Yes.
And you said you had a wolf?
Yes, he's got a wolf.
All right. What type of wolf is it? Gray wolf, timber wolf?
Timber.
Timber. So it's a pretty stout wolf. As you come down the slope, the six of you, horse I guess you're leading the horse or riding it, one or the other, and you get to the edge of it. You can just see where the plains of Corellia end and the bogs begin. The ground is, it's clear. It's that spongy look that, Pete Marsh has, and you can walk on it, but it's going to sink in places, and then all over the place are these little pools next to it here and there. Well, the ground has risen somewhat. You have these small fins of just reeds and whatnot, maybe 50, 60 feet, wide, or in circular patterns or whatever. And then sprinkled throughout, you have these cypress trees. And cypress trees, of course, is a type of pine tree that grows up with this thin kind of flaking bark, but its roots don't really go deep. The roots come up out of the ground, so you'll have the stem of the tree, and then all around it what's called cypress knees, and there's just these roots that stick up hither and yon. It makes traveling in such areas a little bit more difficult, but it also actually gives you something to hold on to if you're, get into some muck and begin to sink or whatever. So clearly the horse is going to be a bit of an issue in this. Not impossible to bring into the marsh, but it is going to be a little bit of an issue. Now the magpie just swoops off your arm and flies, within like 100 feet and lands on a side of on a cypress knee and then turns, waiting for you all to do something. The wolf could care less one way or the other, but the horse is dragging just a little bit about entering in there.
Well, I will dismount from the horse. I kind of look him over for any obvious weight that I can ditch.
Okay.
Let me go through my inventory, see what I have. He's not wearing any armor, so it's just bit, bridle, harness, horseshoes, and some feed. Saddle, blankets, saddlebags.
It's probably not the weight that's got it a little bit reticent to enter as so much that it's just swamp, and it's not natural for a horse. Now, as a knight, however, horses from Corellia and Anglame, all this, are very well bred, very well trained. So, and as a knight, that's your thing, right? Working with the horse. So you can go any route here you want. Can go there. You can take the horse in, just kind of cajole it a little bit to get it to go in, or you can let it go, and the chances of it leaving this area without you are pretty slim.
We are going into the swamp to try and rescue this woman. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Correct.
Yes.
Lydia.
Sorry. So the Knolls probably go through here often enough. I wonder if they may have blazed the trail on the trees or the foliage. And so Kaladin's going to kind of look around for that.
Okay. Now, obviously, that's a ranger's, deal, so you're not going to be able to find anything like that. But you can clearly see where a lot of weight passed through the bog here, because there's just stuff kind of kicked up all over the place. They, however, didn't follow. So when you're looking at this bog in front of you, you can see the peat moss in patches, and in trails. And it looks like you probably could walk on that, on and into the Fush Dam with these little pools that you would want to avoid as you kind of weave through them. Does that make sense? But the Knolls or whatever made this trail didn't give a crap. They just plunged right into the water, over the peat moss and into the water and going on, which tells you the water's not really deep. It's not, of course, it might be deep. They might have all drowned, but probably not. They all sank into the mud right here.
That'd be an interesting storytelling move.
Right.
How avant-garde of you, Steve.
Right.
TPK, quicksand.
It's probably
King
deep for,
Cother's dead.
Well, I guess upon learning that there is kind of evidence of a trail, I would feel a little bit better about leading the horse. I'm not going to ride him in, but I'm going to lead him. Because I'm good and well shot if I don't have that horse.
All right.
All right, so you're leading the horse in?
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have a marching order at all, or are we just going to kind of plunge in? You probably can easily do 2 abreast, maybe 3, obviously 1, but do we got any kind of order?
Well, I must apologize. Vision is not my best. So
Yeah,
maybe
getting dark
I'll
out.
pick up the middle.
Neither is mine, and I lift up my helmet and I point at my eye socket.
Well, I can scout
Oh,
pretty
that's-
well.
That's nasty.
That's nasty. Put that patch back on. So the druid up front, I assume?
Yeah, I'll go up front.
All right, so you're going to keep your wolf with
I'll go
you?
with because I've got.
Yeah, I'll bring him, and actually, if he's agreeable, maybe he would go a bit to one side and a little in front.
Okay.
I'd
Yeah.
take the rear guard.
Okay.
You sure? I don't mind.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to be the slowest.
I'll go with Richard up front and using dark vision. I'll be a help as it
Yeah.
gathers dark.
And
Does
once
that-
it gets dark, I will cast Eyes of the Bat on myself.
Good lad.
I'm going to walk alongside the wizard. I think that would be a good move.
Okay. So essentially, we got the druid and Bill, your dwarf, up front, the Oathsworn, and in the middle, the cleric and the wizard, and in the back, the knight and the brewmaster dwarf fighter bringing up the rear. That sound well. I guess the horse is technically bringing up the actual rear, but he's right there.
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right, so you guys move in. The magpie, like I said, flies forward, lands on that cypress knee, and waits for you all to kind of, arrange yourselves. The wolf takes off running. It passes. It jumps in the water at one point, swims. It clearly doesn't seem to care one way or the other. It's just on the hunt and on the prowl. So the sun's beginning to set. You probably got another hour and a half of daylight left. Of course, it's really filtered at this point with the mist and the rain and the slight overcast grayish clouds above, and in the time of day with the sun dipping beneath the mountains in the west. Now it's getting relatively dark, but the Push Dam bottoms are just flatlands. I mean, it's just open country. And so with that in mind, even the thin light that filters through the clouds and whatnot gives you guys enough, visible field that you can move forward without torches and all of that business. So honestly, Richard, you don't need to cast the bat thing yet if you want to hold off on that.
Yeah, I'll hold off until I need it.
Okay, and is that a personal spell, or can you do everybody? Or is it just you?
It's just, I mean, I could do it on other people, but it's one recipient
Got it. All right.
per cast.
Useless druids. No.
Yeah, I know.
All right. All right. So the magpie, it solves any tracking or trailing issues that you had. This creature clearly, it can see whatever kind of disturbances that the gnolls made going forward, and you guys begin to weave yourself in. Within a very short period, however, even though you're following the peat moss and keeping yourself out of most of the water, you can't help but after 15, 20 minutes, it begins to soak through the sewings of your boots. You step in a little bit of deep here, and it sloshes over the top of your boot. Your cloaks now begin to get a little heavier as they drag through water and whatnot. So the whole thing just becomes uncomfortable, as you're moving forward. Yeah.
Well,
throw on, except for the wizard, who has protection from elements on, and ruins all my flavor text. What did you say, Magnus?
Darn that magic.
Magnus, did you say something?
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, you guys weave forward probably about another hour, and now the sun's really beginning to set. And everybody give me a spot check. So it's going to be a wisdom check. Add your level and your attribute bonus.
Another outstanding roll.
I'm guessing not.
No.
Go Ryan.
Yeah, 11 for Kaladin.
All right,
and
11.
Prime.
Magnus,
All I
what
can see and smell is this horse.
He's just your entire visual field in this moment.
We just don't have to carry a shovel and clean up after it.
Yeah, there you
Well,
go.
that's why I'm not walking behind it.
Magnus, what you get?
I got an 11 because all these gnats are flying in front of me. I can't see anything.
Well, yeah, how are the skeeters?
Mosquitoes. It must be in Arkansas. No.
Yeah, really. One of my favorite lines from The Lord of the Rings is when, I don't know who, one of the hobbits says, "What do they eat when they can't get hobbit?" I absolutely love that line. It's somewhere in the Fellowship. I can't remember where. Bill, what did you get?
I got a 14, and that's not a prime.
Not a prime. King, what did you get?
15, not a prime.
All right. And Richard?
I got a 25, and that's prime.
Okay. So, Richard, you kind of move forward in front of everybody, and you see, the first thing you notice, the magpie's kind of flown off to your right. Your wolf stops, and when it stops and looking off to the left, it immediately, just its whole demeanor changes, and it immediately draws your attention, draws your eyes, and then you can see maybe 130, 150 odd feet, something like that. This small figure crouched on a very, very broad cypress knee. It's got a hat on. The hat, it seems to be mostly naked. It's definitely some type of halfling maybe, or fae, or something like that, crouched on this cypress knee, and it's fishing. But it's clearly seeing you all, and it's looking in your direction.
Okay. I'm going to look over at it, and in the quietest voice that I think he can still hear, I'm going to say, "Any luck? Are they biting?"
Ask him about the rainbow connection.
All right. Well, so all of you, obviously, I assume that you stop when the druid turns around and says, "Any luck? Are they biting?" I mean,
I'm sorry.
Like, yeah, a lot.
Exactly.
Mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes. And when you all, I mean, obviously, you stop and look in his direction, and you spy this creature sitting there. He looks right at you, Primal Richard, and he says, and he doesn't say anything, but he kind of very slowly stands up on a cypress knee. He's extraordinarily thin, probably 3.5 feet tall, and he begins to lay the fishing rod down and into the water. He just kind of sets it into the water. When it lays there, slight ripples come out, but it doesn't make any noise. Both of the dwarves give me a primary attribute check. So now this is something that I put in the Player's Guide of Arid. It's not an official CNC rule because it's not in the Player's Handbook. But when I call for a primary attribute check, it is your primary attribute. So for a fighter, it's strength. For a wizard, it's intelligence. Blah, blah, blah.
All right, that's better.
Yeah.
23.
All right, 23. Bill, what'd you get?
I got 16.
All right, you can't quite make out in the dark, but Ryan, you looking at that creature, looking at the way it moves, and just everything about it reeks of age. It just seems to be a part of time itself, which immediately, and because it's goblin-esque, you immediately associate it with an eldritch goblin. Now, these creatures in air are relatively rare in the early days of the world's creation. The Red God, Orandul, he went out. There was a disagreement between Orandul and the early dwarves, and the dwarves were the first settlers all over the world. Many of them just wandered from their kinsfolk just to explore this new world after their creation. Well, once the dispute began between Orandul and the dwarves, he began to go out and track these dwarves down singly. And there's a huge mythology behind this, but we won't go into all of that tonight. But he tracked these dwarves down singly and corrupted them, essentially taking their greatest fears and their greatest weaknesses and turning them into a force that would form these creatures into something else. And that gave birth to the goblins. And this deep resentment between goblins and dwarves has existed ever since. Many wars between them, blah, blah, blah. But the eldritch goblins, they're the ones that Orandul himself actually touched. Orandul is of the Valar Akun, which is the most powerful of gods. So eldritch goblins are phenomenally weak, but immortal. You actually can't kill them. Each has one weakness, but you have to know the creature's, you have to know the creature to discover its weakness and be able to kill it. They can be good, they can be evil, they can be just about anything. But you recognize this is probably an eldritch goblin.
And do the racial hatred for goblin, does that apply to eldritch? Or
so in the world of Aird, it gets very complicated. as any such interactions between anybody actually are. Nothing is as easy as we want it to be. So the dwarves and goblins fought 4 major wars for about 3,000 years, and the goblins eventually decimated the dwarven societies and kingdoms, leaving only one. However, fast forward through many eons of time, when Unklar conquered the world under the Winterdark, he enslaved the dwarves and he enslaved the eldritch goblins, both because Unklar, the horned god, despised Orandul, the red god. Both are evil gods. Unklar, so he took Orandul's creations and just bound them to him, and he hated the dwarves for the same reasons from their origins and whatnot, and he bound them all in slavery in the pits of Alftrag. So in this strange twist of fate, the eldritch goblins joined forces with the enslaved dwarves, and they rose in rebellion against Unklar, and hence the trench wars. Okay. So there's this weird love-hate thing. So some dwarves would look at an eldritch goblin and despise them for what they did eons ago. Other dwarves would look at an eldritch goblin and thank them for aiding them in the Unklar. Most dwarves could give a flying shit one way or the other.
I think that's where I land.
Yeah.
So
most of them are like, it sounds really complicated.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to just go, that thing is old.
Okay. Does anyone do anything in a hostile manner when he says that? Okay, so you guys are all. So you see this creature lower himself into the water, and as he goes into the water, there's almost no ripples whatsoever. It's almost as if the water conforms to him as he sinks into it. But he looks at you, Druid, and he says, he mouths the words. None of you, the rest of you can't hear anything, but Druid, you hear it quite clearly. He says, "Not yet," and then he slips beneath the water.
Okay.
And now he's gone.
So is this a good thing or a bad thing? Calvin's kind of looking around.
Well, we're still alive, so it's a good thing.
Yeah,
All right.
Wait.
I agree with the druid.
Is the fishing pole still there?
Yes, the fishing pole is still floating on the surface of the pool.
That's the bait. We're the fish.
It starts bobbing up and down in the water. Damn it! I finally got one.
So how far away was
What's the-
that eldritch goblin?
Probably 150 feet, 130 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, once we start moving, I'm sort of ambivalent towards this thing. Although I think maybe I do appreciate the effort that they did long ago to help the dwarven people, and I'm going to leave a little offering. I have some fishing hooks. I'll leave those near that pole if I can get to it.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. All right. Anyone else?
And
do
I wish
anything
him luck.
All right. So you set some fishing hooks off on one of the cypress needs, maybe 30, 40 feet from where his pole is. Wish him luck and then move on. Is anyone else doing anything?
Could I move within 50 feet of the fishing pole location and try and detect evil? See if there's an evil aura around the place?
You don't pick up anything.
Okay. And what is the wolf's reaction? What does Timberwolf do when the guy
well-
disappears under the water?
As soon as the druid starts speaking to the goblin, the wolf immediately relaxes its demeanor and doesn't care. But it takes its sensory,
Sleep from the-
it's reacting to the druid. The druid clearly wasn't concerned, so the wolf's like, I'm out, and he started moving on down the
Okay.
trail a little bit.
Okay.
Can't really think of anything to do at this point, so no.
I'd probably make a prayer to Mortazar for safe travels, because things are getting weird.
Could we swing wide of his fishing hole and not disturb the place? As
Yeah,
opposed
the
to just
magpie's
go-
moved on. You're
Okay,
going to
so
get within
let's
about
just
50
go
feet
stomping.
and then move.
Okay. So let's just head on, follow the magpie, and
Yep.
leave the
Okay.
creature be.
Okay, so you move on for probably another half hour or so, and the sun dips beneath the horizon. You guys are now pretty good and sodden wet, and it's just getting dark, so the humans are going to have a lot of trouble seeing. Clearly, magic items will glow. They put off anywhere between 15 and 20, 25 feet of glow around them. So if you have that, you can pull it out and negotiate a little better. Obviously, any light source like that is going to be an attractant to anything that's about.
Like
Mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes.
Like mosquitoes. The worst thing in any fantasy world.
That's what I'm worried about.
All right, so are we doing anything for a light source, or are we just going to kind of depend on the buddy system and hope the humans don't fall into muck somewhere?
We should probably light a torch, huh? I think I've got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
something.
Lantern. Hooded lantern.
Yeah,
Oh,
lantern
okay.
would be best.
So
Okay.
light that up.
Okay, so the lantern you get, and now do you keep it hooded all the way around so it just shoots its beam one place forward? Okay, so that casts all kinds of shadows around the cleric and the wizard, but this really nice beam of light for what is it, about 60 feet, I think is what it
I
throws
believe
it
so,
out.
yeah.
Something like that. It goes beyond the druid and the dwarf. So the dwarf and the human and the horse are behind. You can see, obviously, but it's just this kind of, you know how it is. It's just shadows all over the place as the light dances in and out of the hood and the little metal brackets around it. It's like a little disco show as you're going through that. As you're following the wizard there. John Travolta in his bell bottoms or whatever's going on in front of you. All right, so you guys move on into the dark for maybe an hour or so. You spy a couple of alligators just kind of laying out, not on the trail or anything. You know, obviously it's nighttime. They're not very aggressive. They're not out hunting. They're just kind of laying there. Not that alligators don't hunt at night. Don't take that as a nature comment, because they do. So,
Real quick, can you hear me all right?
then you've been kind of doing what you said when you first talk, and then it gets better as the more you talk. But that was good.
Okay, weird.
Yeah, it's all magic to me, so I don't know how any of it works. Somewhere around an hour or so deeper into the dark, you guys the wolf tenses up a lot and actually kind of skirts back to you. The magpie quiets down, and you hear this. You've all heard coyotes before. It sounds like that. It's barking in the distance. It's not the long howl. It's just this kind of, coming from over here and then from over there. And the sound at night carries odd, and the sound in the cypress trees carries odd. So it seems to be just bouncing everywhere.
I don't like that.
Well, I will certainly ready my mace.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
just looking kind of twitchy.
All right, everybody give me another spot check.
How about we make some of these checks with like strength or charisma instead of wisdom? My worst stat.
That's the one thing that drives me crazy about the spot check is it's always the wisdom check. It means you should always play a cleric if you want to see something.
Yeah.
Right.
Hot damn, 21.
All right, there you go. Ryan, what'd you get?
11 non-prime.
You're just not paying attention tonight. You're just
Mosquitoes. Really.
Speaking about beer,
I got
I have a
other things on
19.
my mind.
You got a what?
19 prime.
All right. Bill, what'd you get?
18 not prime.
All right, Magnus.
26 prime.
Damn, Paladin.
Yeah.
23 non-prime.
Okay, so Magnus and King, you guys both kind of notice. You stop for a moment, I guess, as the wolf falls back a little bit, and you hear this yipping. To your right, you can see this ever so faint light. It's really mostly broken. You can't see it because everyone else can't see it because the hooded lantern has cast this strange kind of pall over the party. But to your right, you see this light, and then to the left, you can see in just shadows and whatnot this movement. And it seems to be moving relatively quickly, and it seems to be multiple figures or one extraordinarily large figure. And the figures to the left that are moving relatively rapidly. The light seems to be stationary.
Wow. So I'm going to pass this along to the rest of the guys with the look. We got movement on the left and something on the right, and I'm going to start to ready a light spell.
Okay.
On no, I can't do that right now. Bad move.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, you guys. I'll be right back. Y'all decide what you're going to do. I'll be right back.
All right. I switched my microphones. Do I sound better?
Better.
Okay. So while I was doing that, I could not hear anything. So can someone bring me up to speed?
Oh, I think
We heard-
Magnus was the guy.
Yeah. We heard a lot of howling, like dogs
Yeah.
barking, but really loud. So
Probably
I'm
Noel.
assuming that was probably Noel's, right? And then Magnus saw movement.
Okay.
Right.
It was to the
Movement
left,
of a
right?
group or a large individual off to our left, and then there was some light in the distance to our right.
So light
either
on the
they're
right.
circling us or setting us up.
I think the light's not moving, so that might be a campfire.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's.
Yeah.
I would
Did you
bet
say-
it is. They're probably dancing around campfire.
Did you say that there was a? Oh no. Hold on. Hold on.
If there's a dry hummock of land that we could associate
There we go.
on, like a bit of a raised, so we keep dry anyway,
Hmm.
and defend that. If we're being circled for an ambush,
Yeah, that
Say
might be
we-
a good idea.
so
Well,
look
we're
for
not
some
in very
raised.
good. We're not in very good footing at the moment.
No,
It's possible that if that,
formation's all strung out.
it's possible that if that light is a campfire, it's on solid ground.
Exactly.
Right.
If we could retreat to there, form like a circle, and maybe dispatch them. I don't know. I'm not much.
concur with the knight.
I'm not much good on my own 2 feet, but that's probably how I'm gonna have to fight. So
It's easy.
So I have a light spell that I can throw 150 feet away from us, which might be
Okay.
good to illuminate anything that's coming towards us. Shadowy figures or whatever. Which I think is better than having the light over top of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey, no
oh,
laughing.
definitely.
We're playing to be serious. We're not having fun.
Apparently, a wolf spider went towards my son and he crushed it.
I think is better than
Man, I
He
hate
didn't know
this.
what it
having the
was.
light over.
All right. What were you doing? So, left, right.
So we were thinking. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
We are going on the assumption that the light off the trail to the right. Oh, is there an ad going? No, that's just a thing. That the light off to the right is some sort of camp, and we're hoping that that camp is on solid ground. So we're thinking we're going to do like a staged fallback to that point, so that we have better footing to defend ourselves.
So you're going to move towards the light.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heading towards the
Of course,
light.
that light could be surrounded by 50 gnolls having a party.
At this point,
tell
there's
you
really
what,
no good choices.
Tell
You
you
just gotta
what,
pick one.
Exactly.
we'll probably realize that before we get there.
Okay.
It might be. What are those silent parties now where they you put the earphones on and everyone listens to their own music, so everything's quiet. You know what I'm talking about? It's some kind of party people do. I don't know. So maybe the gnolls are doing that. You won't hear their noise. So they all got earphones on. All right, so you guys start moving forward. The magpie now seems to be. It's a little bit hesitant, but it's actually going towards the light as well as it seems to be following the original trail. And as that yipping noise falls, or kind of recedes to the east somewhat, the wolf relaxes its composure, and you guys move on through this marsh, and the trail that you're on weaves its way for about a quarter of a mile, maybe half a mile or so, when you can clearly see what is some type of ramshackle house built on small stilts, probably about 8 feet, maybe 9 feet above the water line. It's off any of this peat bog stuff, so you've got it's like in the middle of a pool, probably about 20 feet of water on this side and to the left and right. You can't see the backside, obviously. The shack is probably 1 room, maybe 2 room. It's made of wood. The wood is warped, horribly put together. It's got some windows that, misshapen windows. It just looks like any kind of, if it looked good once, the weather and the water and everything has beaten it, just beating it to death. And on the porch, and on the porch of that, you see this lantern hanging. Go ahead, sorry, King.
Is it, just by looking at it, kind of comparing it to the size of the lantern, is it built to the scale of a man or to something smaller than a man?
It seems to be something slightly larger than a man.
Oh.
Oh, that wasn't one of the options.
Yeah.
I don't like that one.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to notice a pattern here that I'm not sure that I like.
You're probably about 200 odd feet away from it when all of this detail kind of comes together.
Does it sound like the yipping and the howling is growing behind us, or it's faded away?
It seems to be receding. I should say that it receded for quite a bit, and now it's just kind of stopped. It stops quite abruptly, which the primal druid's going to know. If it's a pack trying to gather itself, it gathered itself. There's no reason to yip anymore. But that's, you're in the swamp pursuing gnolls. So, so take all of that, what I said, with a grain of salt. So.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, should we go and...
I'm gonna take 2 minutes real quick. Grape Ape has asked. They're trying to explain to him the siege engine, the way the primes and non-primes. So I think this would be a great time. Just if y'all don't mind, just do a real quick skinny on how CNC works. So Grape Ape, it's like this. The siege engine is basically an attribute check. You have primary attributes and secondary attributes. If it's a primary attribute, your base chance to succeed at any task is 12. If it's a secondary attribute, your base chance to succeed at any task is 18. You're always going to add your level. You're always going to add your attribute bonus to your actual roll. Now, there are an occasional once in a blue moon you don't, but I actually can't think of anyone asks me that, I can't think of any. So, no, you're good, Grape, because it's good because people are coming in from the Kickstarter to watch. It's good to explain how the siege engine works. It's very, 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 very easy once you kind of get used to it. So the way the primes work is every class has one specific prime. Like a fighter, you have to have strength as a prime. Wizard, you have to have intelligent as a prime. And then you get to choose the other ones. Humans get 3 primes. Demi-humans get 2 primes. So you really can build, like when Davis plays, he never chooses, like if he's playing a ranger, he's going to make like charisma a prime, and then he's going to make one of the other, an attribute that isn't normal for his character. So he has a well-rounded character. He's got dex checks. He's got natural skills for tracking and all of that crap. He gets a slight advantage that he can actually do it, and then he'll have a prime charisma, so he has a better chance at charisma. So it actually, when you get into the nitty gritty of it, it lets you make your character more like you want to role play it, as opposed to using it mechanically. That's just one of the joys of it. And the other joy of it with attribute checks, you can try anything, absolutely anything. And you might not make it, but you can try it. So that's kind of the key to it. That's simple. I hope that explained it a little bit. But it's really fun. One of the things I tell people all the time with Castles and Crusades, and I'm the perfect example of this. I did not want to play the game. I was an AD&D guy. This was in print for almost a year before I actually played it. And Mac and Davis said they would no longer play at my table AD&D if I didn't give CNC at least a try. So I started playing it, and as soon as I did, I realized, holy crap, this is really, really easy. And the more you play it, the more versatile. You realize the siege engine goes just about anywhere. It's really a great system. And I'm not tooting TLG's horn or anything. I'm just very proud of this system, and it's just so easy once you get into the thing. And the hardest thing I've discovered for people who play it is to get beyond the skills and whatever else comes with feats or whatever it comes with other game systems, and let yourself try anything. You can try anything. It's just going to be an attribute check. That's all it is. Don't look at your character. Yeah, exactly. Richard knows. Just try it. You're probably going to fail, but try it anyway.
The answer is not on your character sheet.
Right. All right. So 200 odd feet from this lantern on this porch, the house, this ramshackle house, is about 8-9 feet above the water.
And is the water surrounds the house, or was there a way to approach?
You can approach. So if picturing this peat bog, and it almost, now that you're looking at it, it almost looks somewhat manicured. The pathway goes to the left and to the right. If you're staying on the peat, the peat on the peat. Actually, it's just called peat. You're staying on the peat to the right and the left. You can't see on the other side. So it seems to be almost like the water is a moat. Does that make sense? The pond is a moat around this thing. So it looks like you might be able to circle it. Do what, King?
Nothing.
Well, do we want to
Wolf.
communicate with this fellow, or
Is there a man? Is there someone there?
You don't see anybody.
Nobody. We've seen nobody.
Must be someone the Knolls don't bother.
For good or for
Yeah.
ill, I wonder though.
Might be a good reason for that.
Our goblin from earlier, maybe.
The
Can
the
we
bird brought
move?
us here.
No.
Do what?
Did,
Well-
did the magpie bring us here?
Yes. Well, he led you up until you saw the two, the creatures moving to the left. Now, the magpie seems to be wanting to go forward, and the wolf does too. The wolf just assumes you're going this way. I mean, he stops because you all stop, but you know how dogs are. They move
Okay.
forward a little bit, trying to figure out what you guys are doing.
Well, maybe we want to move to where we can maybe look at the front of this where the lantern is and the door and see if we can see anything to see if we want to try to explore it or if we want to take on after the Knolls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe look in the window. I realize it's up, but maybe there's something we can see.
Like, is there a door or is it just an open doorway?
It's a door definitely closed. There's a light,
Okay.
a little bit of light, just a vague, faint light spilling out from inside. So if there is something lit inside, it's probably like a single candle, something like that. Maybe a little magic or something.
Mm.
Could be a hag too, I suppose.
Could be.
Can someone cast Detect Evil on it?
If I can get within 50 feet, it'll
Yeah.
show up on my radar.
All right, go get within 50 feet then.
Let's do that.
After you.
I'll do it. I'll walk down the path
Well,
with a nice shrubbery on either side,
Yeah.
and I'll get within 50 feet of the doorway. A path.
All right. To be clear, there's no shrubbery anywhere, but you can certainly move forward.
But there is a
All
path.
right. Yeah. So you follow the team forward. Is anyone going with him, or
I'm
is
going
he
with him.
Okay.
He and I can see in the dark, so
Okay.
Right on, man.
I will go
Alright.
as well, and I will cast Detect Magic as we go forward, just in case there's something untoward along the path.
All right. What are the other three of you do?
I'm gonna go ahead and hold here, keep watch, and get my bow out.
Okay. Magnus.
I think we could maybe move a little bit up further close. If they get within 50 feet, we should maybe be at like 75 or 100 feet back. So I think we should advance a little bit up further, just in case they get in trouble. We
yeah,
still have
listen
enough
for the signal.
distance to run
It'll be,
away,
"Oh,
but we should
crap."
run to help. Yeah. Gotta be cheating. Good Lord.
All right, King. You in agreement with that? You guys gonna move forward a little bit?
Yeah. Oh, I won the Stein. Cool.
Oh, look at that. Very cool. All right, so the three of you guys move forward to within 50 odd feet, and the rest of you move forward, what, like 100 feet or so? Is that fair, give or take?
Yeah.
Okay. Keeping in mind at this point, it's extraordinarily dark outside, though you do have the hooded lantern going, and you got some vague magic, I guess, from weapons that might be pulled, and then, of course, the lantern that's hanging on the thing. When you get when you get up to within about 50, it's really about 75 feet, you start making out things. One of the windows on the side, like I said, it's about 20 feet of water between the path and the shack itself. One of the windows on the side, you can clearly see inside, and you can see this woman. She's just bedraggled. Her hair's a mess. It's just got, weeds in it and whatnot. And she's kind of leaning forward. It looks like maybe over a table, over a chair, something. Just an absolute mess. Everything else is in shadows inside the shack.
Now I have a very important question.
Yes.
Do we hear banjo music?
I was waiting for someone to say that.
If you had a bard, it would be perfect. Still one of the creepiest scenes in movie history.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I love that part where the old man comes out and he starts dancing the jig. That's just absolutely a fantastic piece of cinematography. It's a good movie. Deliverance, for those of you out there who don't know what we're talking about.
For the kids in the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you get forward within 50 odd feet and you cast Detect Evil.
Detect any magic?
Just sense it.
Oh, you got magic going on as well. Okay, so we'll do the evil first. So as you kind of probe out for evil across the water and towards the shack, the water itself resonates some kind of evil. I mean, the water is just foul in some way, but it's normally, if it's chaotic evil, you'll get these wave-like sensations over you. If it's lawful evil, you get this constant kind of flood of evil. But this is just this kind of vague, lingering evil that hangs about the water itself. However, beyond the water and in the shack, there's just waves, undulating waves of evil that make you a little bit nauseous.
Okay. I throw up a little bit in my mouth. And, let the guys beside me know that this is bad mojo. We gotta either back out of here or prepare to get bonked.
And as he's saying that, Caladan, you're kind of feeling out for magic and whatnot. Now, magic is a little bit different in the world. The world of Erd is made from the language of creation. The All-Father came from the void, and he began just spinning things spinning the language, and that language was the magic, and from that comes the river of time. From the river of time comes the cosmos, and so forth and so on until everything is made. So there's magic in everything in some kind of latent manner. Now, that doesn't mean when you cast magic that you detect everything's magical. You know what I mean? Exactly. But the language of creation is it's a major tool that wizards use. It's in Erd, the rune marks. These are specialized mages who study the language of creation, and they use it for that purpose. Those are actually in the Adventurer's Backpack, and a huge part of what's in the Kickstarter that we're running. That was my shameless plug. So
plug away.
Plug to you, good sir.
Right. Tim's always getting on me. You got to plug the product. Plug the product. But
what are we doing this for anyway?
Exactly. So, but when the language is used, when rune magic is used, it leaves a definite impact on anyone like yourselves on your senses. So when you cast it on this water, and to give you an idea, rune magic is used in crafting magic items, it's used in crafting monsters, it's used in enhancing people, it's all kinds of stuff. Unklar was well known for gathering up creatures and remaking them using words of magic, using rune magic. So anything many monsters in Erd have this kind of resonating rune magic about them. So as you feel forward, even as the cleric is saying, this is bad, guys, as you feel forward, that pool, something in that pool is reeking of this rune magic. It's just kind of seeping out all over the place. It's not the water that's necessarily evil or magical, but perhaps something in the water itself.
Yes, I sense there's some great magic there in the water. Be very careful.
So it's evil magical water.
Well, I think
Don't
there's something
drink it.
magical in the water.
Guys, I don't think this is our... We've got a dog in this fight.
Well...
Or it occurs to Ryan, maybe the secret ingredient for his beer
is in the
exactly.
water.
You said it before I could. Actually, I was gonna say, oh crap, and give the signal. Is it really that bad? The evil that you said?
So, is she looking at us?
No, she's
In
kind of
the
got her head
houses.
down on her hands. Then trap door opens underneath the shack. You can see this this door pop open, and you see a figure move inside. The woman that is kind of leaning over the table or whatever is violently jerked up and pulled out of your view, and you can hear some clattering around in there.
All right.
Maybe it's our girl.
Maybe.
About a minute passes, and then you can see this cage start lowering down, and you can hear this, this crankcase moving and chain unwinding, and you can see this cage lowering down from the middle part of the shack, and you clearly see that the woman that you saw kind of bent over the table there. She's laying at the bottom of the cage, just kind of curled up, bedraggled, wet, just a mess, clearly pregnant. And then she starts getting lowered into the water. And she wakes up when the water touches her, and she starts kind of weakly pulling herself up on the bar.
Okay.
Well, we
I
must
think
do
that's
something
what we're
about
looking
this.
for.
I would, if I can, although I'd have
Yep.
to cross the water, wouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
I want to try and bend the bars so that she can get out.
You'll definitely have to plunge into the water.
Damn it! I'm gonna.
Ha.
I'm gonna.
Well.
I'm gonna. All right. I'm going to. All right.
As you
I'm
come
gonna-
by, I will give you a little bit of aid.
How deep is the water?
That you don't know.
Son of a.
Good question.
I'm going to cast alter size on our knight.
All right. Now I'm going to assume that those that are 100 feet back move forward. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Assume
Okay.
so.
So everybody's together.
Quietly.
Quietly.
Quietly cast alter size, yes.
Good. You got my signal.
The magpie. Flare. The magpie starts going ape shit when it sees the woman being lowered into the water.
Okay, I'm going to start running around to where these guys are.
Okay. Yeah, you move forward by the end of the round. Is anyone doing? She lowers the cage about halfway. I mean, she's lowered into the water about halfway, and she's standing up and just kind of weakly looking around.
And the cage is still going down and down and down into the water.
It stops about halfway, and then as you guys are kind of standing there, do you cast? What would you cast again?
Alter size. So
Alter size.
basically, our knight becomes 50% bigger. You
Ah!
also get +2 to your strength.
All right.
Okay.
I like it.
So
Suddenly, the knight just kind of grows. You know, he just gets larger. His armor obviously grows with him and whatnot. The wolf jumps back, barks somewhat, kind of in confusion. The magpie goes absolutely nuts. And then the door to the shack opens, and you can see this vague figure. It seems kind of knobby almost, peek out and then close the door quite quickly.
Uh-oh.
All right. How big is this shack?
Man, it can't be 30 by 20, probably. It's small.
And it's
But
standing
as you
on-
noticed earlier, the doors are slightly larger than, it's slightly taller than a normal unit.
Okay. Okay. But it's standing on these old rotten legs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just like a football tackle. I'm gonna go shoulder in. I'm gonna try and knock the whole fucking thing over.
Okay, so, all right. So as you start to run forward, the door opens again. Do you stop or do you keep barreling forward?
I'll slow down a little bit.
All right, so you're still 50 feet. You see clearly, as you're kind of moving forward, you get a little confused. You can see this hand reach out. It's long. It's got like warts or knobs on it or something. And it's got a plate. And there's a large cupcake or cake on the plate. And it sets the plate down and then closes the door.
Oh, what is going on?
Ooh.
Do you keep going forward?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going forward. I'm not.
let me know when I
will
get there.
not be swayed
The
by
cage still
poison
dangling under
desserts.
the house.
All right, Chuck, put it up now. All right, so you leap into the water, and the water just explodes to life all around you. You see this gigantic worm-like creature come out from underneath the shack,
Son of a-
and these huge tentacles lash up and around you, and the creature, this palk worm, attacks you immediately. I think Chuck will have it up here in a second. And it is a creature of the old world created by rune magic. Give me an initiative, so a D10 for initiative.
Oh, God.
Everybody.
Everyone or
Just the knight. He's forward by himself at the moment.
Holy crud.
Oh, no.
Cute.
Come
All
on,
right.
big money. 7.
All right, what do I got going on here? He moves, he catches you just a little bit off guard as you're kind of just trying to get to the pylon. Suddenly, this giant worm's between you and the shack itself. There it is, up. You can see it in the stream there here
What
in
a
a second.
disgusting thing.
And it lashes out at you. What is your armor class?
45.
It's 45. Damn, that's a good armor class.
No, it's 16.
16.
Yep.
All right.
Although that is with my shield, so I
Okay.
don't know whether or not you want to count that.
Yeah, definitely count the shield in. So, I mean, you've got it on your arm. I would assume, as you were going
Yeah.
forward. So 16 with your shield.
Yeah.
All right. The tentacles start wrapping around you. You see this huge maw open up around you as it tries to bite in at you. It doesn't go for the bite just yet. It does swing the tentacles. One misses completely, and the other one wraps around you, squeezing tightly. Obviously, going to attempt to lift you up. 2 points of damage as it wraps around your leg. And go ahead and take your swing.
Okay. This is with my large mace. You're like, the hell's wrong with you? 19 to hit.
That hits.
Oh, good. I would say that I'm in deep trouble if it didn't.
I think you're still in deep trouble.
Well,
And getting deeper.
Well,
Don't
he's
worry.
taller. He's taller.
We're right behind you.
oh,
That's true.
I get a bonus to my because I'm stronger because of my
Yes. Oh, yeah.
increased size.
You're-
Does that give me +2 to my damage or to my strength score overall?
Just +2 to your strength.
Okay.
Oh, so your strength's going to go up to whatever.
I went from a 15 to a 17. Does that increase my modifier?
+1.
Okay. So that is 7 points of damage.
All right. You slam the creature. Are you going for the body of the worm or one of the tentacles?
If the head is near me, I'm going for the head.
You hit it on the side. It's very much. You hit it on the side of the head where its maw is, and you can see as it opens its maw, it's just got all of these serrated teeth, and it's multiple rows of teeth that go back and into it. And clearly, you can see the whole design here is to bite, pull, and slowly shred you to pieces as it swallows you. So you slam it into the side. Caledon, what do you do?
I want to try to get to the gal in the cage.
Okay, so you're going to run forward and dive into the water.
Yep.
All right, so you start barreling forward. Magnus, what are you doing?
I'm gonna cast spiritual weapon and direct it at the tentacle.
The worm?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, is that automatic this round or is that next round? I can't remember the casting time on that. I think it's one.
In time of 1.
Yeah, okay. So you can go ahead and take your swing. Bill, what are you doing?
I'll take out a crossbow and take a blast at the worm as well.
All right, so you'll be loading your crossbow this round, pulling the bolt out, getting that ready. Richard, what are you doing? You had a bow out, I believe.
Yeah, I did have bow in hand, so I'm going to come to a stop and shoot at this huge thing.
Okay, go ahead and take your shot. Ryan, what are you doing?
I pull out my light crossbow and get it ready to fire next turn.
Okay, all right. So go ahead and give me your shot with the bow and the spiritual hammer. Magnus, what'd you do?
I hit armor class 23 for 7
Alright.
points of damage.
Okay. Suddenly next to you, Knight, you can see this hammer kind of appear in the air and begin raining blows on this worm. Richard,
I got an 18.
that hits.
2 points of damage.
All right. The arrow sticks into it. So next round. All right. So King, you're standing in this water. Now this worm has completely come out. Its forward part, obviously, the back part is underneath the water.
Yeah.
4 tentacles are coming in at you, and it's lunging in to bite at you. So give me an initiative. Actually, everybody give me an initiative. But the only one that's up and in the fracas, I believe, is the Knight.
That's gonna be hard to. To beat. I got a 1.
Yeah, that's not very good. That's
Yeah, I know. What are you talking about? This AD&D lower initiative was better.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kaladin, what are you doing? Oh, you were running forward and just swimming past the worm.
Yeah.
That's right. So you did go forward. So what did you get, a 5 initiative? You got a 5 initiative? Kaladin?
Yes, 5 initiative.
Okay. Magnus, what'd you get?
3.
3. Bill, what'd you get?
7.
7. Richard, what'd you get? Bill, go ahead and take
5.
your shot. Richard, go ahead and take your shot. Ryan, what'd you get?
I got a 10.
Go ahead and take your shot. So 3 more arrows come hurling in. As Knight, you see the wizard just splash into the water. It goes up almost to his chest. Obviously, you're taller, so it doesn't, it's up to your thighs or whatever. But the wizard goes splashing past you. You do draw the attention of the creature, so one tentacle slaps towards the wizard, but Knight, the bulk of it is just falling upon you. Let's get the arrows first. Bill, what'd you do?
I scored a 21 and for 5 points of damage.
All right. Richard, what'd you get?
I got a 15.
That misses. The arrow bounces off. Ryan, what'd you get?
Yeah, I got an 8.
That bounces off as well.
I don't know.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Bum, bum, bum.
Mac, we play every Thursday, or we'll switch it to Wednesday, but whatever. Mac, I don't think he hit anything for like 4 or 5 games running.
Oh. That is frustrating.
His frustration level was just going through the roof.
I would get so mad I'd probably just stop.
Do what?
I would probably just stop. I'd be so mad.
Oh yeah, Mac's a very patient guy, but it was getting to him. I could tell. I'm gonna do my 1 against the wizard first. What's your AC, wizard?
13.
You get hit. Tentacle wraps around you. 4 points of damage as it tries to lift you out of the water. Since you haven't taken an action this round, you can try to do a strength check to break free. And then I'm going to rain. As you do that, if you want to, or you can cast a spell, don't let me guide your character. Knight, I'm going to rain blows upon you. What was your AC again?
I will try to break.
16.
2 of the tentacles smash into you. Good God, doing 4 points of damage. But it wraps you, it pulls you forward, not tangling you up, but does come in and bites in at you, crumpling your shield and biting into your arm for another 5 points of damage. And you can feel as it does so, those teeth immediately, when they sink into your flesh, the mouth closes and pulls you into its mouth somewhat. Knight, swing, and Magnus, swing, and Kaladin, what were you doing?
I tried to break free. I got a 16, so strength is not a prime for me, so that's not a success.
It lifts you a little bit out of the water you can still cast a spell next round or pull a dagger or whatever, but you're out of the water.
How deep is the water?
Probably where the wizard jumped in. He's a human. What did you say? You were 6 feet? Probably about 4 feet deep, give or take.
Okay.
What do we get? Spiritual hammer.
AC 9.
You did not hit.
Splashing about too much.
Knight, what are you doing?
So I'm going to use my inspiration ability.
Okay.
This will give +3 to hit for everyone within 30 feet of me for 3 rounds.
No.
Okay. Excellent.
And so I'll kind of like raise my weapon and be like, this is going pretty badly, but I believe in us thoroughly.
How inspiring.
Yeah.
Dude, we were playing a game once, and Chris was trying to get these villagers fired up. And Chris is a huge role player. He was great role playing session, this whole thing. And so I made him have a charisma check. The villagers were all fired up, and then Chris charges down to attack the orcs or something. But one of the other characters, Sarah, she says, she goes, you're all are going to die, and immediately dispelled. It was so funny. All right, so you inspire your comrades to greater endeavors of strength here. Next round, give me an initiative, everybody.
Does that invalidate my attack?
Yeah, that's your action that round when you're inspired. I believe you might want to check the rules on that.
That's fine. Can I attempt to break with this creature? Because I don't think I can survive another round with it.
You mean do a strength check and get the hell out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
On that. But that's going to be the next round that you can
Okay.
do. You guys, I'm checking on that just to be sure. You might be able to take other actions while you're inspired. Normally, you can role play anything.
Yeah.
while combat's going on. But inspiring may be the action that you are taking.
Okay, that's fine. I did get a 10 on my initiative, so
Good.
You know what? It actually doesn't specify here one way or the other. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take an action while you're doing it. That's interesting. It's another thing about Castles and Crusades, and I know that many Crunch people think this is a cop-out. Some of these rules, when Mac and Davis wrote them, if it's a rule section, now I wrote the Adventurer's Backpack, but in Player's Handbook, they wrote it. If it's a rule section, they intentionally left some of it vague so that CKs and players could make their own game. They could go with it any direction that they want to go, and that was intentional. And we have fought, for a long time to keep that. And a lot of players don't like that. They don't want that in their game. But
no, they want to know exactly what they can and can't do. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I understand that. Some people love that stuff, and that's great. But that's not the way CNC was designed.
Yeah, don't change it.
I like the rule of cool. If it's something interesting,
I really like. It's your table. You should be running it how you want. So King, I'm going to let you do that. So you're up there. You're shouting. You're emboldening your comrades around you. So this is still the last round before you roll your 10 for the next round. So you can make a strength check, or you can swing at this creature, whatever you want to do.
Come on, Laszlo.
Because I know that I rolled that 10, I'm going to meta a little bit. I'm going to hit him.
All right, swing.
You got the upper hand on him.
Yeah, I do. I inspired
you have this
myself.
Prescient feeling that you're going to do really well. You emboldened yourself.
Oh, no. That's...
I take
it. 14 to hit.
That misses. You're just raining blows on this creature, trying to break free from its grasp. So next round, I think you all have rolled initiative for this. The door opens, and you can see this horribly gnarled creature step out. She's vaguely like a woman. Chuck, if you want to put up the last picture, clearly a hag of some type. And she scoops up that cake in the plate, and she's slamming the door behind her as we go forward. So I got a 1 on initiative. Did anyone get a 1? Yeah, okay. So we're going to start. Just everybody take your shots, swings, or whatever it is that you're doing. Kaladin, are you doing a spell?
Yeah.
What spell? Okay, at the creature?
At the creature, yeah.
Clearly at the creature. I don't know how.
Yeah. Cupcake. I'm going for the cupcake.
Get that cupcake.
Steve, I'm going to try to make it up to the knight to heal him.
Okay, so what you're going to have to, since there's so much motion going on, though the knight is large and he is right there, the worm's on top of him, you're just going to have to do the touch attack to see if you can actually get a hold of him just because there's motion. So go ahead and do that. Kaladin, what did you get?
22 to hit? I've got a +3, right? Still?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you rolled it. And I think it's a touch attack anyway, but you're good. You hit it with the acid arrow.
All right. So
Bill, you still shooting the crossbow?
Yeah. I'm going to use a called shot though.
6 points.
Okay, that's a -4, I think, or -8.
Yep.
One. What are you shooting at specifically?
The hag.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's gonna be a -8 as she's slamming the door. What'd you get initiative?
Take it. My initiative was 7.
Okay.
Oh.
Make it a -6 on that as she's slamming the door.
So 6 points of acid damage,
All right,
and
6 points
the
of acid.
arrow persists for the
Okay.
next 2 rounds.
Magnus, did you get a heal in there? Did you get a touch attack?
Yes.
Question-
I touched AC 15.
Question for you, Steve.
Okay, you got it. Go ahead, Bill. Go ahead and roll your D8 or whatever you're healing.
Is this an evil? If this creature's evil, an Oathsworn gets only a -4 for a called shot.
Okay, yeah, she is evil, so you're good down to a -4.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll deliver 19 points of healing.
Oh,
There you go. All right, King,
I'm
take your
hulking out,
screen.
brother.
Ryan, Ryan, what'd you get?
So, our knight friend is still caught up in the tentacles, correct?
Yeah, and his arm is in the creature's mouth.
Okay, so I'd like to do a called shot on one of the tentacles that is holding the knight,
Okay.
trying to loosen it up.
Fire away. It's at a -8. And Richard, while he's doing that, what are you doing? You shooting another shot with the bow?
No. I'm going to cast Bark Skin on myself.
Okay. What is your wolf doing? Is he hanging with you?
Yeah.
Okay. It's barreling to go into the combat. I mean, it's
if it wants to go, I'll let it go.
And it charges. It just leaps in past the knight, especially since he's been so emboldened. King, what did you get on your? What did you get on your swing?
Oh, yeah, I'll hit him again because I'm feeling much better. Suddenly, I feel like I don't need to run away anymore. Just like I feel suddenly rejuvenated by this surge of energy that courses through my veins, and I kind of stand up and I let loose with a 17.
17 misses by 1. Ryan.
Oh, come on, man.
Ryan, what did you get to shoot? Ryan's frozen up. We lost Ryan. Someone roll for Ryan real quick with his crossbow.
I got a natural 7. I don't know what the mods are.
Okay, crossbow. All right. So, okay, so that round, no, I haven't actually swung that round. Let me.
Oh, I still got my shot there, Steve.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and take your shot. You're shooting at the hag, though, right?
Yeah, it was the net was 21. I was emboldened by my friend the knight, and I've got a +4 with all my mods. So it's,
yeah, remember to add a +3 to all your.
I rolled
attacks.
18, becomes 21.
All right. The crossbow strikes her. It strikes her and bounces off.
Son of a.
Oof.
Hags are hard to get.
Let me unleash pain on the wizard. What is your armor class again? Was it 13?
Actually, doesn't it still have me grabbed?
Yes, it's still kind of. It hasn't lifted you out the water. It's got you, and it's trying to pull you in, but most of its attention is geared towards the knight, as its mouth now is. I mean, it's swallowing the knight, or attempting to swallow the knight. So it's just kind of holding you in a pattern as you cast, acid arrow on it. You're just kind of lingering there.
13.
So basically, what it's doing is squeezing. Do what? 2 points of damage. Good job.
Alrighty.
That was sad.
I don't like how disappointed you seem when he doesn't absolutely demolish us.
A little embarrassing. All right, so 2 tentacles on the knight, 1 hit, and the other one is equally as sad, but in the opposite direction. So I got a natural 20. So what I do in my game with the nat 20 is I just max damage, and then I roll a d4 on top of that. So you take 15 points of damage. As it's pulling you into its mouth and just grinding your armor, just mangling your arm. So that ends that round, begins next round. All of you can see the knight is wounded. Do what, King?
My head is probably enveloped in it, and my muffled screams are escaping from its slavering jaws.
Ah!
This beast is rude. All right, so give me an initiative.
That'll be a big fat 6.
I got a 10.
You guys are good. I got a 4. If you got above a 4, go ahead and whatever action that you're taking.
Right.
And Kaladin, the arrow.
So 7 points for the arrow, and then I'm going to cast Magic Missile, my last Magic Missile.
All right. Obviously, that strikes the creature. King, go ahead and swing.
I'm going to try and break from him.
Okay. Give me a strength check.
This is a prime.
Okay. Remember, add your level.
Oh, and my level. It's like 23.
Yeah. All right. So as you kind of, the creature's pulling you in, it opens its mouth to clamp back down and pull you in. You yank your arm out, but even as you can do, you can tell you shreds chunks of your muscle, a little bit of your chest, 3 more points of damage. but you push so violently off that you crash onto the peat behind you, right onto the trail. So you break yourself free from this beast. Magnus, you got a spiritual weapon?
Yes.
Right, still going.
11 points from the 11
How
points
much?
from magic missile.
7 for magic missile. Richard, what are you doing?
I charge in towards the magic user, trying to, go after that tentacle, and I roll a big fat 8.
Okay, you leap in, hack at the
Nice,
creature,
good hit.
What'd you get, Magnus?
I miss with spiritual weapon.
Oh, you missed. All right, Bill, what are you doing this
I
round?
rolled a 19 with a crossbow on the worm,
All right, give me some
and
damage.
did 7 points of damage.
All right. Someone roll for Ryan. He's still. Oh, and the wolf. Richard, the wolf leaps onto the worm, trying to tear into it.
I rolled a 16 natural for Ryan.
What? He's a fighter. Oh yeah. So he's gonna have a +5 or +3. He hits. That gives him minimally a 19. So he hits.
What's his damage?
What's a crossbow? 1d6, 1d8,
D8.
a d8.
Let's say a D8.
I have no idea.
The wolf gets
Ooh.
a 6. He's no more. He's less successful than I am.
That is a natural 7. I don't know what he adds to that, if anything.
You don't add anything for missile weapon. All right.
Okay.
2 of the tentacles have dropped. One on the wizard has kind of just dropped off as the creature clearly is. Someone's telling us it's a 1d6 for a small light crossbow. So next round it'll be a d6. We won't worry about it this round. But the creature.
That's Rhino telling us that.
Is it cloudy? Is it stormy enough that I could call lightning?
Yes, but you might want to check the casting time on that. I vaguely remember that might be really bad, but I could be wrong on that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll check.
There's one of them that's like 10 rounds. It's just ludicrous.
Oh, yeah. Nope. I can't do
Oh.
that one.
Okay.
It's 2 minutes.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great after a day's work, but.
Yeah.
All right. So I haven't gone this round. Got 2 tentacles left. So those forward now. The druid's forward, the wizard's forward, and the knight are forward, still fighting. So its mouth is going to lunge at the druid.
Real quick. Richard apparently is muted on the stream,
Oh, Richard.
Yeah.
according to Great Babe. But we can hear him, so I don't know how that's
I
possible.
mean, I dropped and had to come back in, so Chuck may have needed to put me back in.
Oh, I
Okay.
see. Oh, Ryan's just froze, I guess. Okay. the joys of online gaming.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
that's right. There's never any latency in real life.
Exactly. All right, so we're gonna. What is your armor class, druid? I know you have bark skin up.
18.
Did we do? Yeah, did we do acid arrow damage this round?
Yes.
Okay, it was 7. That's right. 18. It bites into you for 9 points of damage, clamping onto your arm and chest and your back as it's lifting you up and off the ground. That ends that melee round. Next round, give me an initiative. I got a 2 that time, so if you beat a 2, oh, we lost another one. You're dropping off fast.
I got a 1, so
There you go.
I got a 4.
Give me some acid damage first.
5 points of acid damage, and then Kaladin is going to continue his get to the cage.
Okay.
I
so
have
this
a
guy-
knock spell to use to unlock it. So
Okay, you're already in the water. There's only 20 feet of water. You're probably 15 feet from her. So this round you get to the cage and you can cast knock on it and pop the cage open. So Magnus, swing with your. Or would you get initiative? I mean, you beat me with my 2.
I got a 4. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead and swing. This worm is barely hanging on.
just kill it already.
15.
Yeah.
No, that misses. All right, Bill, shoot your crossbow. Richard, are you swinging with the mace and the dog? And King, are you swinging this round?
Well, I've probably been busy hacking up mucus, not all of which is mine. Not all of which is mine. But
but after I do a bit of that, I kind of stand up and wipe the slime off, and now I'm pissed. I'm gonna go for the bastard sword. I'm gonna two-hand this fucker. Sorry, can I swear? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Too late.
Certainly my table you can.
And I'm gonna try and like get around to the side of him.
Okay.
So that I'm not his immediate point of attention. And I want to like try, I guess it'd be like a called shot. I'm just like trying to pierce some sort of like brain or something with this
so
bastard.
what's going on as the druid has come in, you shake yourself off, you splatter this mucus and blood and chunks of your armor to the left and right. Your horse is right there, you pull the bastard sword out, move to the left, and you're just bracing yourself to just cleave the creature open. But that's going to be your action this round, all right? All kind of doing all of that. Rearming it. So, Richard, give me you're swinging with the mace, correct? And Bill, how'd you do on you?
Well, it's axe, but I again got that 8, and then the wolf got a 10. So
it's just the mud is so slippery.
Yeah,
it's difficult to get purchased. Bill, how'd you do with your shot?
Again, this creature is evil as well, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Some sort of neutral evil. Fair enough. It's good enough for me. Evil's evil. I used a called shot on him and rolled a 19 plus the 3 inspiration from my friend the knight, and that's going to make it double damage, and rolling a 3. So double damage is 6 points.
All right.
Nice. Good hit.
Points. All right. And what do you use? You're using the bow. You're still using the crossbow, right?
Crossbow. Yeah, light crossbow. I rolled D6 this time.
All the way into the quill. Ryan, are you with us? I see something, a coin there. I'm guessing not. Wait. Okay, so he got a 3 on initiative. I got a 2. Go ahead and tell him to shoot his crossbow.
Oh my god.
But it's evil. We're waiting here. Here we go. He missed. He got a 5. All right, so the crossbow bolt shoots past him. I believe I was attacking. I believe Richard's the only one in the line of fire, right? No, okay. So the knight is still there, but he bit Richard. That's correct. All right. So he grinds into Richard again. More damage for the poor druid. No, sorry, not just 1 point there, dude. He doesn't grind you very well. He's confused by all the slipping that you're doing in front of him. He doesn't know. He misses with his tentacle, so you're good to go. All right, so that ends that round, right? Did everybody go? I think so.
Yep. I think so.
Beginning next round. Is the acid still going, or are we done with the acid?
We're done.
Okay, all right. I'm just going to, at my normal table, I don't normally say anything like this, but, he's got 2 hit points left. I
got a big fat 8.
Yeah, give me an initiative on it.
I got a 9.
I got a 6.
I'm in a 7.
That's
I got
better.
a 3. All right, so everybody. Somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody
I had
swing.
a 9 initiative, and I rolled a 19 to hit.
19 hits. Everybody swing.
For 7 points of damage.
All right. Cleaving into the...
gonna try to get the gal away from the water and worm and everything.
All right. When she sees you, she kind of falls into your arm. The magpie is suddenly on top of you, but then looking up, you can see this large, just head looking down at you, and it's just disfigured and scarred, and this dirty, ragged blonde hair kind of enshrouding all of it. And this creature, this hag, she's looking right at you. What do you do?
Is this the
Fireball?
I didn't use that on the worm.
Well, you're pulling the woman out.
Yes.
Are you going to stick with the woman? Or are you going to try to cast a spell?
I'm not. I'm going to spend my turn getting her away from this conflict. Sorry.
Wait, is she out of the cage?
Yeah, well, he did a knock spell and got her out of the cage. Okay, so the rest of you this round, because you won the round, you're all kind of raining blows on the creature. unless you've got significantly less than Richard did. So this round, you're actually just hacking into it. You're more than welcome to take your swings, but clearly the creature is passing into the netherworlds. But if you want to take your swing, have at it. Because it might be regenerating, you don't know.
That's true.
Yep.
I guess I'll do that. I did roll a oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm using my
You have a
bastard
bastard
sword.
out, yes.
Oh, nuts. So that'll miss. Well, unless I rolled a 17.
Well, add your base to hit to that, which should be like 3 at least. Well, no, with a paladin, it's probably going to be.
No,
Your paladin-
with the mods. With the mods at 17.
Got it. Okay. All right.
D17. Okay.
All right. That you hit it. You hit it in the side, but it does not cleave through it. Bill, you taking another shot at it?
Yeah, I rolled a dirty 20, and that gave it 2 points of damage.
All right. Good God. Richard, you swinging again?
Oh, I mean, we're back.
No, I'm sorry. You already swung. You're the one that killed
Yeah.
it. Magnus, are you swinging with a spiritual hammer, or is it still up?
I would be, but I didn't finish my prayers today to Durandale. He's looking disfavorably upon me.
All right. So the spiritual hammer goes away, and then I'm assuming that Ryan is shooting another crossbow bolt at it. Ryan, go ahead and take a shot if you can still hear us. I'm not sure if you're still with us or not. All right. So you're pulling that woman behind you. Beginning next round. So Magnus, we're going to start with you. You see the wizard pulling the woman across the pool, moving quickly towards the bank. What do you do? And you're still on the bank.
Yeah, do I see anything near the house, or is the creature in the house?
You don't see the creature at all. You've got the shack there. The trap door is open. You can see the chain from the winch that heads down, and the cage is hanging there open. And the worm itself is kind of rolled over. It's absolutely monstrous, but it's slowly sinking into the muck around it. And Rhino missed with his 8.
In the meantime, I'm gonna heal the druid.
Okay. Oh yeah, good point. I forgot about that. So as the creature's sinking down and it's still bit into the druid, you're going to have to pull the druid out. So you can either heal him or pull him.
I'll work on pulling him out.
Okay. As you yank him out, much like with the knight, the serrated teeth shred flesh, and it does 8 points of damage, druid, as it pulls you out, just mangling your arm with these serrated teeth.
Maybe I should have healed him first.
No, because then the flesh would have grown around the teeth.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
There we go. I'm helping you.
All right,
I
King,
understand. It's the way of nature. Get me out of here.
That's the primal druid. King, what are you doing? As he's pulling the druid out of the worm's mouth.
There's like a hag, right?
Somewhere in that
Yeah.
house.
In
the
the
wizard's
house?
running. The wizard's running towards you. Yeah, he's just pulling this woman through the water. You don't see the hag, but presumably she's still in the house.
Oh hell. I don't suppose I have like I don't suppose I have like a healing potion on me or anything.
Probably not.
Probably.
It's unlikely.
You got that good berry. It's worth
Oh,
money.
yeah.
You do have a good berry.
Does that
Pop
heal?
berry.
It's
Yeah.
1d8.
point.
Ooh, I'm gonna eat
No,
that.
1 point.
Oh, 1
Should've
point.
eaten it, but okay.
How much does it do?
It
One.
does one.
Oh, okay.
1 hit
Uh,
point.
Bill, what do you do?
Did the water get deeper quickly as the wizard went in? Or did it slope in?
It seems to be about even. It's about just under his chest as he's plowing through the water, dragging
I think-
her with him.
I think the whole purpose of this mechanism was to feed the girl to the worm.
Yes.
Possibly. But the worm was just a guard for the hag. That's why the gnolls leave her alone.
Maybe.
To be the pet. I'll move forward with my crossbow to the edge of the water and cover the opening and hopefully aid the wizard dragging the girl out of the water.
Okay, you can easily do that as he's plowing through the water. You pull him up, trying to get him up onto the bog there, the peat, King, are you just watching, just keeping an eye on the house? Is that what?
Do I hear any sound coming from the house, or like, is there anything going on up in there?
So I'm going to assume that you're watching the house. You're concentrating on the house. So give me a primary attribute check. So for the knight, that's charisma, right?
Yeah.
You would think I would know this by now. I can't remember any of this stuff.
That's not great. That is a. I had my level. That is a 13.
You don't hear anything. The wizard's being much too noisy, dragging the woman to the water and whatnot. The worm's rolling over, and the dog's barking, and the magpie's going absolutely apeshit, as trying to stay with this woman. But you see quite clearly 2 splashes of water underneath the trapdoor.
Like 2 small splashes?
They're not necessarily small. Probably about. Can you see my hands? Probably about yay big, maybe a foot across.
So it like the splashes that 2 feet would make as they hit the water.
Could be.
Okay. I'm not wasting any time. I'm gonna close that gap, and this 9-foot tall knight in heavy armor is gonna just body whatever's in there and just hold it underwater.
Okay. All right. So you just barrel. You're actually on the peat at the moment, so you can run down the body of the worm, splashing across it to just smash into whatever may be standing there in the water. That's essentially what you're. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm assuming that it's invisible.
That action begins. So next round, this round, Bill, you and Kaladin are pulling the woman up onto the peat. Richard, what are you doing? You see the knight just barrel across the pond, running down the worm. What are you doing?
I am going to throw fairy fire in the area where the knight is grabbing.
Okay.
And hopefully
that's a big brain move.
Okay. And Magnus, what are you doing while all this is going on?
Does he have his? I'll watch the cabin. Definitely keep an eye on the cabin.
All right, so that fairy knight, you're like halfway across that worm, closing in, and suddenly you can see this large humanoid figure enshrouded in magical fey light. Clearly, your instincts were correct. Give me an initiative. I'm sure you can beat that. As you slam into the hag. Give me an initiative, King.
Oh, sorry. I was just confused by the chat because it said I won another Stein, and then it said, "Oh, never mind." Well, no. And then it said that I didn't win it. It said I've been removed.
That's right. Keep focused.
Anyway, what am I doing? I'm sorry.
He's on that Stein.
You're rolling initiative. The fairy fire exposed the hag in front of you.
Look, I need a matching set. Damn it.
Bookend.
That's a big fat 6.
All right. You got the drop on her. You can clearly see her. Are you swinging or are you grappling?
I'm grappling her, and I'm hoping I'm big enough that I can hold her underwater with my weight.
You might be able to do that, but just looking at her, she's easily 6.5, close to 7 feet tall. She's pretty tall herself, and she is a swamp hag. So
she's probably. Oh, okay. That's fair. I guess I will. I'm gonna air condition her brain. I still have that stupid bastard sword.
Stupid bastard.
Stupid.
Are you swinging it two-handed?
Yeah. Come on. Oh, that's not good. 15.
The 15 misses.
Ah.
You rain a blow into her chest as she staggers back, and then she throws her arms around you, and she begins to whisper in your ears as she just holds on to you for a moment. I need you to make a saving throw. I'll tell you what kind in just a moment. So I gotta look it up.
At this point, the +3 bonus to hit has ended.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Is
That's-
this a spell?
No, it's an ability.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Well, holy crap! It does not work. So
Yay.
you can feel her trying to weaken your resolve, but obviously a knight of Corellia, you do not fall for her jibber jabbering madness, and you avoid her sorcery. Okay, so
beguilements.
nobody else has acted this round except Kaladin and Bill. You guys have secured the woman, pulled her up. So Magnus, Richard, and Ryan, you all can act. So Ryan, whatever you're doing from the sidelines over there. Magnus, what do you got?
Wow. I don't have a lot to throw. I'm just gonna try to move up to where they are.
You just
And,
plunge into the water and engage the hag in combat. Richard, what do you do?
Me and the wolf are doing the same thing.
Okay. So that's you're closing that round. So beginning next round, you three roll initiative. You two on the bank, you've pulled her up. You can do whatever you want, or you can turn to engage the creature.
When the three humans head into the water, how deep does it look? Are they getting chest deep?
It's about chest deep or so. Oh yeah, for the dwarf, I guess that's
Not good for me.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna try to engage.
No, you can
Get a
use
straw,
the
get a
worm
straw.
as a bridge.
There you go. There you go. Run down the worm.
I got a 7.
A
All
4.
right, go ahead. Swing King. Magnus, what'd you get?
1.
1. All right, so King, you're going to swing Kaladin, and Richard, you're going to go at the same time. I do. Kaladin, what are you doing this round? Are you turning on the hag?
Yep, I'm gonna try to cast levitate on her,
Oh, nice.
so she gets an intelligence save.
Nice.
And you're 5th level, is that right?
Yep, 5th level.
She does not seem to be impacted by your sorcery.
well.
I rolled a
Oh.
23. I rolled a 23 to hit,
That hits.
and that is a total of 10 points of damage.
Nice. All right, you carve into her. She staggers back somewhat, lets out some kind of half muffled shriek.
Okay.
Richard, you and I are going do what?
If I can, I'm gonna try and like take a step back and like make sure that the length of my sword is between me and her.
Yeah, when she realizes her sorcery has no impact, she just kind of lets you go, and then she's just turning to just claw at you. But at that point, the druid and a cleric have jumped up. So Richard, you're just swinging, right? Full on.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna roll. So cleric, you haven't quite engaged because you got in at the round. You rolled the lowest initiative. I'm gonna roll to see who she is actually swinging at. Richard, you can go ahead and take your swing. She's taking both swings at the knight, of course. Seems to be your day. One, she misses entirely. She breaks one of her claws off on your helmet there.
And remember, you do get a +1 to hit her from the
Because
very
of the
fire.
fire.
That's right.
Oh, I do? Okay.
So,
Yeah.
knight, you take 5 points of damage.
Oh,
The knight is slowly bleeding to death. Richard, swing, and Magnus, swing. And Bill, take your shot.
I'm not
I'm
going to
gonna
shoot. There's too
for
many
another
guys
light-
around her. But I will take the opportunity to run down the length of the worm and then engage her next turn by leaping into the air with my mace over my head.
All right, so this round, you're barreling down the worm.
Yep.
Magnus, what'd you get?
I'm gonna try to do a heal on the knight. Do I need
Okay.
to do a touch attack?
No, not in this circumstance. He's not held or bit or anything. So you just turn around, heal the knight. So
7
Richard,
points.
the knight, you gain 7 back. Richard, what did you get to hit?
I got a 10.
That did not hit.
Or an 11, excuse me.
And the wolf actually can't get to the hag. It's,
Yeah,
it's just,
I realized that. They got a 21, by the way, but, you know, it's like, yeah, he probably couldn't join in this battle.
yeah, he's half swims out there and then half swims back. He doesn't know what to do.
Stands there
all right,
barking.
great, babe. You keep your comments to the peanut gallery. Hey, I'm just rolling horribly over here, so it's just the way the dice go. All right, so beginning next round. So now we've got. So first, I need Bill
I need you to roll a primary attribute check.
All right. We'll do dexterity. I roll a 10. It's a +2, so 12. And my level is 15.
All right, so you're running down the body of this worm, axe in hand, about to leap through the air. You can see all of this chaos, and you can tell the creature beneath you moves just a little bit. There's motion that's not related to you or the knight that's standing next to it. So I'm gonna let you think for a few seconds about what you want to do while I do initiative for these three guys, and then you can let me know what you're gonna do. And
Okay.
Kaladin, go ahead and roll initiative too.
Yeah.
And actually, Bill, go ahead and roll initiative so we know where you are in the round.
I'm at 8.
All right, so I got a 7. Does anyone other than Bill beat that?
8.
What do you do in this round, Kaladin?
I guess gonna go and smack her with my staff.
All right,
Out
so
of-
you're just so this
I'm out
round
of
you'll be,
stuff.
this round you're just running up to engage with her. So next round you'll be engaged. So I'm going to go ahead and swing. Unless Bill, are you just going to swing at the hag? Or are you going to?
The worm is seeming coming back to life. There's motion. The worm is
It seems to have moved.
Well, if it's coming back to life, I'm just gonna stop where I am and drive my flange mace into the side of the damn thing.
All right, so you're running down the body. You just swing down into it. So give yourself a +10 on that, and swing at the worm there because it is prone. I am going to swing at
14.
Either the one of the three there. It's Richard and the knight. First swing. To claws at Richard. What's your AC?
It's 18.
What is that? 6 points of damage, and then she claws at the knight. That is 6 points of damage as well. So everybody can take your swings, except you, staff wizard. You're still running this round.
Right, that's right.
What'd you get, Bill?
I got a modified 21.
That hits.
And does how much damage?
I keep forgetting Rhino. I think Rhino's still here.
5 points of damage to the dead worm.
The beast, driving it somewhat into the water. All right, we'll start with you, Magnus. Would you get the hit?
So I got a 21 to hit.
That hits.
I will deliver 9 points of damage.
All right, King, what'd you get? You slam her hard in the side. She staggers back from the blow.
Modified 20 to hit.
That hits.
Oh, 11 points of damage.
God, you guys are doing fantastic. All right, you cleave part of her head open down to her breastbone.
Yeah.
Richard, what did you get?
12.
The 12 misses. The mace slams her in the hip. She staggers back from that blow as she's, clawing at King and clawing at Richard. And then the bastard sword just cleaves open part of her head down to her breastbone, and she staggers back and just falls backward into the water with this wave of water just, kind of rolling back and away from her as she sinks underneath the pool. What do you all do?
I'm going to
I'm gonna cut off that head and bury it.
So you go for the hag to pull her out of the water and decapitate her?
Yeah.
All right.
Is the worm no longer moving?
After you hit it last round, it sinks back in the water and goes still again.
Okay.
That's no guarantee.
No guarantee.
That's true.
Yeah, but it will sit here, and it can't really chase us. I don't think. We can get out of here. I'm reaching into my pouch and getting the 3 good berries I have and eating them.
Okay.
And getting out of the water and encouraging everyone else to get out.
All right, Magnus, what are you doing?
Getting out of the water and just ready for whatever. Looking around, it's all bad.
How long am I a giant?
5 minutes.
Oh, so I'm still a giant.
Yeah, you're still huge. And Kaladin, so you run forward as she splashes in the water. You keep going forward, or you turn around and get out of the water?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So next round, King, you step forward. She's only a couple of inches under the water.
Yeah.
You grab her by the hair, start lifting her up. She screeches at you and just slashes with both of her hands. Give me an initiative.
Son of a.
We got an 8.
You got it. Swing. I'm going to give you a +4 because she's partially prone. So go ahead and add that to your.
Boom! Nice, good hit. It's like I broke over 20.
No, you got it.
All right. Boom! Nice. 6 points of damage.
So as you pull her head up and out of the water, you cleave into the side of her neck, split it all the way through her jugular, down into her spine. It obviously separates part of her head. She dies with a scream on her lips. You can continue hacking if you want to go ahead and finish what you started.
Conan took 2 swings to decapitate Thulsa Doom, so I feel okay here.
Hey, all right.
As long as you get it done,
Yeah.
All right, a couple more hacks, and you separate her head from her body, and the torso begins sinking beneath the water as you wade out with her head in hand.
Mm-hmm.
All
So
right,
what did we learn?
Do what?
So what did we learn?
The swamp is very, very mucky.
Yeah, I would agree.
Did mosquitoes suck?
Yeah.
I think we need to beat feet before the gnolls come by.
I would agree.
Should we check in the house if there's other prisoners? Is the house accessible?
Yeah, I mean, you can pull yourself up. There's actually a small ladder there that you can pull yourself up.
I'm going up to see then.
All right, looking in the house, it's as ramshackle inside as it is out, and it stinks of decay and rotten flesh. You can see one long table in the middle of it. There's a not really even a chimney, fireplace. There's this area where there's a pot where she clearly burns. It's got slate around it to keep the place from catching on fire, but there's no actual chimney. It's just kind of an opening in the back. But there's black soot all over the place. There's bones all over the floor. All of the bones have 2 teeth marks on it, and they're all, just in a cursory glance, they're all either some type of human, humanoid, or demi-human. Clearly, she just eats and drops it on the floor and drinking the swamp water as she desires.
A grotesque creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not anymore. You've got her head in your pocket, so you're good.
So anyone besides the knight really hurt? And me?
No, I'm free.
I'm okay.
Okay. I will cast Poultice on the knight.
Okay. What does that do?
Did you see Chuck's cock?
6. It gives you back 2d6 hit points.
Ooh, 2d6.
And
I get to roll
so-
that?
No, I rolled it. Or I don't know. I typically have my magic users roll it. For
Yeah,
a
yeah,
caster
roll.
to roll it. So I rolled the 6. And then I'm going to do it to myself.
You never want me rolling your heal dice.
I got the 7.
Roll horribly. So
Oh, hell
Yeah,
no,
Great
I'm not
Baby's-
sleeping in that thing.
Yeah, Great Babe is suggesting you bed down in the hag's crap hole.
Now, the other
Right,
thing
so-
it does, if we do get to rest, you'll get 1 hit point back an hour.
Ooh,
Oh, that's-
okay.
That's great.
Up
So-
to 8 hit points.
So you've applied a poultice to our wounds.
A magic poultice. I cast it.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, so it's probably just 8 o'clock at night. You're, 3, maybe 4 hours from dry land. You can bed down or you can try to just head out.
I'm not sleeping here.
Probably a wise choice. I
Well,
think we
how's-
should head out.
How's, what's her name? Lydia?
Lydia, yeah, she's in horrible condition. She's easily 9 months pregnant. The stress has put her into all kinds of bad shape. Even walking out of here is going to be damn near impossible.
Well, she'll ride the horse.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would ask her, or do I even know where her homeland is?
Yeah, so she is the countess, the count's Have to get my. She is the niece of the Count of Corellia, and if I remember my Aryan mythology, Corellia. I might be seeing. One of them sits on the dragon throne because one of their ancestors slew a dragon, and that's what his throne is named after. He's a very generous but very warlike knight. But generally speaking, I mean, he's a good person. You know what I mean? He's not. There's nothing evil about him or corrupt or whatever. Gobbledygook. But her home is going to be, I believe it's Kemai, is the capital. I am looking that up.
Kemai?
Kemai, yep. Lord of Kemai, keeper of the dragon throne, rules this land. Count Joseph Ulrich. I believe it was his grandfather, Matthias, who slew the dragon.
Well, we must return this woman to Kemai, to the dragon throne. She can't survive out here for even a night, I would say.
As soon as you says that, she or say the word Kemai, she just starts saying home. She's clearly delirious, pain from the pregnancy and all of that.
Here, eat this. I give the gal the good berry that I got.
Oh, very nice. Oh, yeah. That revives her quite a bit. I mean, it's nutrients and heals her 1 hit point. Is that right?
Yeah. Does she
Ryan
have any? Does she have wounds on her, or is she just
where you can? She's bruised in her arm, where obviously the gnolls were dragging her, through the swamp, and her feet are torn up, her knees are torn up, where she just cut and briars and whatnot, underbrush, whatever she was drugged through. Yeah. The gnolls clearly didn't. They weren't nearly as circumspect about their journey through the bog as you guys were. So she got beat half to death from that.
Okay, so I'm going to throw Lesser Poultice on her, and that'll get her back 2 hit points.
All right, that actually revives her quite a bit. And then she turns to the knight as obviously someone she can associate with, and just she kind of falls into your arms and says, "Take me home, take me home."
I will do that.
All right, so you guys going to head out of the swamp that night?
Well, I'm still standing up. I'm up in the hag's hut, yelling down, "Should we trash this place or torch it?"
Let's just go.
If we torch it, the gnolls will come and investigate it, and we could be long gone by the time they get here.
Follow us.
We might, if someone has the ability to detect magic, you may want to just take a quick scan around in there, because hags sometimes have something.
Exactly. I mean, she had victims. She must be some sort of equipment or gear pile that she took off of them.
Well,
look, I've played enough games
to know 5 minutes. Is it still within the time frame?
How long did that last? 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Yeah, probably. I remember a round is what, 10 seconds or 6 seconds, I think. 10, 15 rounds of combat, 2 minutes here doing this. You're probably barely within your
Okay. I'll go take a quick check.
All right, in and amongst the debris, you find there's quite a bit of stuff mixed in with the bones, but you can tell that this hag, like, you find an axe where she chewed the haft off of the axe. I mean, she just chewed and gnawed on everything that came into her possession. So there's very little mundane items left.
She's a porcupine.
You find a ring that's got some tooth marks all over it, and it's shaped like a feather. And then you find a mace that's clearly magical, and a suit of chainmail that she has is just covered in all kinds of filth that she's jammed up into the corner. But it's clearly some type of magic.
All right. Well, gather up those 3 things. Here's some magical items. I'm not certain what they do, but
they're all cursed.
Yeah. Mr. Slater says, "Loot the place, then set it on fire."
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
now let's light it on fire.
There's a big ass worm there that I don't want to be around.
Looks like I got back in at the right time. We're dividing up the magical items. I'll take one of everything.
There's the ever full tankard of beer.
Sorry, don't know what happened, but I'm back now.
All
what
right.
did I miss?
Just kidding. There was a dust up, you know. Just a little dust up.
There was a small fight.
I thought we were going to lose the night there for a minute, but
All right.
I'm just
glad
looking. All
everyone's
right,
okay.
all right. I'm just looking to get out of here, so I'm gonna start leading the horse. I'm not ditching y'all, but I'm like starting to lead him away. Like, all right, we gotta go.
he's not waiting.
Okay. I'll get back out.
Paladin
on
falls
the way.
along.
All right, so
We
the
start
journey
singing
back.
Sir Brave Robin.
You do what?
Start singing the song Sir Brave Robin.
Bravely ran away.
Yeah.
You guys make pretty good time going back. Obviously, you followed this trail to get there, so you have a little bit of familiarity with it. You're not moving with particular caution, looking for knolls or whatnot. So somewhere around midnight, maybe 1 in the morning, you pull yourself up just beneath where the wagon was and find yourself back on dry land
Oh, thank God.
Oh,
and away from the dangers of the Fustam bottoms. All right, so at this point, I assume that you guys are going to make your way to Kimai. It's about a 5-day journey.
Yeah.
And return this young lady to her family. Within a day or so, probably late the next day, you've crossed the Slate River and you're near the Elite River, the Elite River, which is pretty well patrolled, so it doesn't take you long to be scooped up by a group of knights who begin to escort you, and word of your deeds begin to spread across the land. Even though Lord Alban did not make it, the Lady Lydia and the blood relative of the Count, Joseph Ulbrich, is, I assume, within the week, returned to him and to her family, and you are well rewarded in song and gold.
Hell yeah.
all right.
And land, they will give you allodial land if you want it, which means you own it free and clear of feudal deeds. Well, that's not true. You still owe feudal deeds, but you own it. They cannot take it from you.
Nice.
If you so choose. It's not going to be a lot of land. It's more like 10 acres. So, but enough to build a small
Excellent.
keep on and move on.
Probably next to a river.
Friends are temporary. Land is forever.
That's right.
Yes. All right, so that was it, gentlemen.
I'll take it.
Hey, thanks.
Very good.
That
Thank
was
you.
that was a blast.
That was
That was
a
a
lot
lot
of
of fun, and
Yeah,
I
a lot of
missed the
fun.
big
Learned a lot.
fight.
That was cool. That was cool. I really enjoyed it. And this is my first, I guess actually, this might be my second, but my first actual game that I feel better now about doing this. We can do this more often, I think.
So session 2 is next month.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we're going to try to do a monthly session at least until I get more and more, and we work some kinks out and get into it, because I don't know. It's clearly COVID's not going anywhere tomorrow, so. But I had a lot of fun. You guys are great to play with.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for running it.
Very good
Thanks a
game.
lot.
Thank you very much.
Had a good
Very
time.
cool.
I gotta say,
All
this game runs real smooth. Real
Yeah.
smooth.
Yep.
It's one of the things that, and it took me a few games, the more you play it, the easier it gets, because it becomes, I don't know, it's just, especially with the attribute checks. And the nice thing about it, and it's one of the things about spot check I'm trying to make myself change, is I always make it a wisdom check, and that it doesn't need to be one. It really needs to be built around the attribute based on the circumstance, right? If you're in a crowded city or whatever, and you're trying to spot another person, then a rogue's going to have a better chance, than a cleric. So it should be a dex check in that circumstance. And that's the nice thing about these with the attribute checks. The CK can do anything he wants, and they don't have to justify it. Just whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
What I've done is I just call it a prime. I can leave it wisdom, but just make everybody have a prime. Like you're trained in watching for stuff. Is kind of
Yeah.
how I did it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and there's some realism to that too, because by the time you're 3rd, 5th, 4th level, come on. I mean, I remember walking. My dad was a veteran. He 2 tours in Vietnam, and he grew up in the wilds of Arkansas as a kid. And we could walk through the woods, and that dude could see animals everywhere. I couldn't see nothing. Just what? That's a fox? What are you talking about? Look, right there's a fox. Because he grew up, and you get used to it. It's just you see it.
Yeah.
And presumably characters, adventurers would start picking that skill up at a certain. So that's a good way of doing it. Though Mac told me when I was complaining about the cleric always gets to see things, he said, "Well, doesn't that make sense? that the cleric's deity might give him a better vision on seeing things that he shouldn't. I thought, that makes a lot of sense. But like I said earlier, and Mac is editing the CKG right now, and he sent me an email and said, you keep mentioning spot check. There's no spot checking. Technically, there's no spot check. So it's kind of funny. Cool stuff. Well, this is great. This is a lot of fun, guys. Sure appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you
Thank you, Steve.
disappointed that we didn't die?
I don't ever try to design things to kill characters. I don't think I've maybe done one TPK since I've been DMing since '81. I don't really like to do TPKs because I do campaigns is mostly what I do. And if you've played in my game for 7 years and you're 12th level and everybody dies, man, it doesn't leave a good taste in anybody's mouth.
James will kill you for looking at your 20.
But now characters do get killed frequently to negative. They go negative, and I do that pretty harshly because if you go -1, you're out for 7 days. Unless it's a heal spell. Otherwise, you got to rest 7 days before you heal a hit point back. So what invariably happens in my campaigns is someone gets wounded, and they got to stop. That guy went -3. Unless they got a heal spell, they got to find somewhere to hole up for 7 days. And if it's in a dungeon, there's a lot of wandering monsters. So it just gets progressively, harder and harder. But yeah, I don't kill characters often.
Moving forward, you're doing this once a month, you said, or that's the plan?
That is the plan.
Okay.
And this worked pretty well tonight. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's sort of. I think the problem was on my end, obviously. But are those seats going to get raffled off like you did before?
I'm not sure. One of the things that because of the way I run games, I run campaign style. So I've been trying to figure out a way to do, to keep a campaign arc going. Because really, if this was a game I was regularly running, we would have stopped.
Yeah.
At the edge of the swamp, and now you got to get this broken, torn up, wounded person across, 200 miles.
Well, I'll say this. I still need to get revenge on my piece of shit brother who took my eye. So
there you go.
So that's kind of the thing I'm trying to figure out a way to do and get more people playing. Do we play the same game and we're just Twitch streaming it? That might be a cool thing to do because, obviously you guys have got a good party here. And we've already got backstory and characters and moving forward and all that stuff. Or we're going to do raffles. I'm not sure how all that's going to play out. So
okay.
So we'll see.
Okay.
We've done in my home game. We've done before where other players will play other people's characters. I don't really like that.
That doesn't usually work out.
They do weird stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's never good.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Yes,
cool.
thank you very much.
Yeah, this was a blast.
Chuck, what are we doing? Okay. Oh, sweet. I tell you, one of the funniest things we did, and we regretted it about halfway through, and the first Kickstarter we did for the player's handbook, we did personalized books, which means we write each backer a personal message. And what we do is give boons where we'll write, you get an extra first level spell when you start a wizard, this type of stuff. And I don't know what it was like 130 players' handbooks that me, Davis, and Mac had to personalize. It was exhausting.
Wow. Yeah, no doubt.
All right, so what are we raffling now, Chuck? What do we got tumbling out?
Signed book.
Oh, very cool. Very good. The Andaluth. That is the dwarves' oath of life to the Allfather.
So,
it's one of my, I'll give that story real quick. It's one of my favorite stories in Aired because when the dwarves are created by the Allfather, they're sitting around the forge of life and they're watching the Allfather hammer away. And one of their number comes forward and says, "You have given us life. What do we owe you?" And then the Allfather, because he's the Allfather, he looks at his creation and he hardly even recognizes it as anything other than a moment in time, like a teardrop, in the ocean. And he doesn't say anything. He just smiles at the dwarves. Then he goes on about his work. So the dwarves immediately think, "Oh, the All-Father wants us to work our lives. We're supposed to do something, either make something or do some deed to pay back the debt of life to the All-Father. So the entire dwarven race, they're all bent on creating something that will last or doing a deed that will last to pay the All-Father back for life. But the All-Father was just smiling at this thing that was talking to him. He's like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know.
Whatever you think of.
Right.
Oh my god.
But that
That's
is the
awesome.
Andanuth, the debt of life. Because that's actually where Erd all comes from. It's all creation. The language of
Oh, I do want to out Chuck here real quick. He asked us not to do this, but I think it'd be funny to just publicly out him. He warned us, and his warning was thoroughly useless. But he said, "All right, you're gonna have to cross a river, and then there's gonna be a giant. I don't know what's after the giant. No one ever got that far." I was like, "All right." Yeah. Yeah, this ain't no river.
He told up the master. He had the darkened pole all ready to go. It was. It is one of the things I do when I run convention games for new players. I almost invariably have them do a river crossing so they can learn the attribute checks, because you can easily have them do 6, 8, 10, however many you want. It doesn't matter. Just keep making attribute checks, and you do 3 or 4. They've kind of learned how the system works. So when you're going forward, it just makes the game go a little faster. Let me tell you the funniest thing I ever had 2 people do. These guys trying to get across the river, and there's no way in hell it would work. But it was 2 kids. They were like 16, 17. Both of them went on to go to the Afghanistan theater, but they played brother dwarves, and they were trying to get across the river. So they cut a tree down, and they tied a rope between each other, and they used themselves as ballast on each side of the tree. And I thought that was so creative. I said, absolutely, you get across the river. Probably.
They were probably beat to death with that log.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty
cool. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
The Andanuth.
Holy shit!
Jeez, that's 3 in a row.
There you go, King.
I think there's something going on here.
Check your algorithm.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one more piece of lore. So on the cover of the Andanuth, I don't know, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, stop moving.
There's like a thing.
I can't tell. There's a tiny boat. Do you see the tiny boat?
Sure.
Somewhere. Yeah, it's already sinking. So you'll see it. So you can go see it on the website. So there was a dwarf who, I can't remember his name actually. He loves sailing. And the god Aelor, who's a Valarikun, one of the very powerful gods, he's always in a good mood. Always. Even when other gods destroy his creations, he thinks it's funny. Everything is humorous to him. So he befriends this dwarf who's always sailing, and they're constantly contesting one another. The dwarf keeps challenging Aelor to make worse waves and whatnot. But eventually Aelor, in his humor, drowns the dwarf because he makes waves so great that the dwarf cannot fight them. But he doesn't understand it. He doesn't really understand that he's killed this dwarf because he doesn't really quite grasp life at that point because he's a god. But the story goes on beyond death. But it's it's what's on the cover of the Andanuth King, which you will see coming your way. So,
all right.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Loved it, guys. That was a absolute blast. All right. We signing out.
You betcha.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. All right, all. Thanks a lot.
Good night.
All right.
night.
Take
Thank you
care,
again,
everyone.
Steve.
All right,
Good night.
I'm signing out. Chuck, is that what I'm doing? Am I signing out? Okay.